What's up, everyone? How's it going?
It's going good. I'm good.
I'm surprised you didn't get me banned last time.
You know, I'll try harder this time.
If you don't know, this is the reason behind most of my bans when there's an actual human involved.
I got a fancy shirt on today.
Oh, fancy.
Yeah, so my gut doesn't hang out that much.
Yeah, just be careful because you know Twitch don't like them.
Oh yeah, I know. Well, I'm not gonna do like a full strip tease.
Yeah, that's for the OF.
Exactly. Gotta pay a premium for that.
Who's this muffin? This is Darko. You may see him in the Discord every now and then. He's one of the people that you know, like if you ever look at the penguin a-holes, that's him.
Yes.
That's his self-described title, basically.
That's what he says, but he made that and he put that in me.
Yeah.
Put me in there and
Put
locked
that in
me out.
Put that in me.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, the penguin asshole right in there.
I bought the rugs to this party. Yeah.
Yes. That. If you want to see the fun stuff, go to Twit. So we can get banned there too.
What, you trying to set a high score?
Yeah. I've only gotten TikTok. I need to really work for Twitch and YouTube. YouTube, I really gotta lay it on thick.
Yeah. Probably won't get monetized because we just already cursed enough in the first 5 minutes.
Oh yeah, that too. Well, sorry. I'll give you $1.
You already gave me money.
Oh yeah, but that was for last night.
Phrasing.
Oh, I forgot.
Silence your phone.
That.
Yeah, because your phone goes off like crazy. Like, I thought I got a wicked amount of notifications, but your phone goes off like every 5-10 seconds.
So, that is because I'm very popular and people like me. It's not because I'm just in a bunch of Discords and they always send up updates.
You're like, you are in a lot of Discords compared to me.
Dude, hold on. Last time I looked, it was like 50 something.
I don't know how many am I in. Like,
I
think I'm in like 50 as well, but most of mine are like quiet or I muted them.
Yeah, I don't, because like for me sometimes I like to
yeah, I mainly just hang out in mine, the local DEF CON. That's really all I hang out in because like how many other ones are just BS, and then I DM friends and stuff like that. Yeah. But
No.
we apparently last stream we're told that PewDiePie apparently made a Linux video.
Yes.
So while I was on the toilet before work, I took a gander at it just for a couple minutes to see what's up. So we'll watch that in a little second and react to it.
How much did you watch?
Like 2-3 minutes. A 20-minute or so video. Spoiler, dude, I was on the toilet. Does research.
See, your boyfriend is still there. There you go.
Yeah.
Listen.
Well, he's out of
I am too sexy for this. Okay. I could do a lot better.
Love. Too sexy for my body. Too sexy. It hurts.
Yeah. No. The real fun stuff is on Matrix. True. Dude, I actually have to put Matrix back on my phone.
Yeah. It is one of those things where
the juice.
The adult juice.
Yes.
This stuff was very dangerous.
Well, so Player X, you said that last time. First off, you can only do one bad joke at a time in like a year. All right. Second, we already explained, not MILF. Filth.
I'm okay with a Gmilf.
No. Filth.
Oh. Is the TikTok chat being read? I don't know. You tell me.
Is the TikTok chat being read? No. We don't read TikTok. No, okay, we do.
Yep.
Thank you.
Some nice blueberry adult juice. Fine.
L'chaim. What is L'chaim again?
Two life. I took a sip and I forgot. This is hard. That's what she said.
To life. Okay.
Yeah. We drink to life, not from it. That's the important thing.
No
Which
TikTok.
YubiKeys do you
no
have?
Tic Tac is not being read. Yes, Tic Tac or the Tiki Talkies.
Tiki Talkies.
Which YubiKeys do you have? I have the crap. Just a regular USB Type A connector one without the Fido or FICO.
You mean just the blue key? No. The standard is Fido.
It's got
no NFC.
No, it does have NFC, but
Okay.
it's just the standard Type A connector, not the USB-C connector.
Oh yeah, so it's just the YubiKey 5.
Yes.
So you have the YubiKey 5, also known as the 5A.
This guy's got like 100 of them.
Yeah, well, I'm an ambassador, so pinkies out. Out.
Yeah.
So no, wait, that's the wrong pouch. I have
Which Linux use guy in blue shirt? Which Linux in what format? So for my gaming desktop, my daily use desktop is Pop OS. My laptop I have is Pop OS.
So this one, right?
Yes. Yeah, that's the one I have.
Yeah, so you have the YubiKey 5 series. Yeah, I have the 5C NFC, the 5CIs, the 5Cs without NFC. I've got the Bio.
Yeah, you got all that.
Yeah.
So my servers though, I have I don't know if Unraid is Linux based.
I think it is.
It's either that or it's FreeBSD. And I know.
I don't feel like it's FreeBSD. FreeNAS is.
Yeah.
Or now
I don't know
TrueNAS,
what it's built on, but it is nice. If Unraid would like to sponsor me, I do need a couple drives.
Don't make content.
I
Sponsor
don't,
me.
but-
I'll just throw it to you as my second.
You can't say that. You got to say that you're gonna put it in, but then.
Phrasing.
I mean, I'm not lying. No. But no, my server, I have one server that's all it's Proxmox, which by the way, I freaking love Proxmox. You ever use Linux containers?
LXC?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've used them a little bit.
Dude, Proxmox is beautiful with that now. Because they spin up just as fast as a freaking VM now.
Yeah. Oh, can you grab the
No. I'm already grabbing it.
The Meshtastic device on top of the 3D printer?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because we got that set up right after the
You screwed me with the cord. It doesn't out all the way.
Oh, you know, I'm into choking.
Listen, I set you up for a good pull-out joke, and you couldn't even go with that. Come on, man.
My guy in blue looks like an Arch user. No.
I have done Arch.
Every Linux user has done Arch
Barack.
at some point. Barack!
Get out. Go.
Go, buddy. Go.
I don't need you scaring the shit out of me by licking my freaking feet midstream. Go.
You're a good boy, but go.
Hold that. Ready? Watch. Come here. There you go. Ah, I got you. No. No. Ah.
Yeah, the new...
Tickle. All right. Go.
Playing.
All right, fine.
Fine. Chev.
There you go.
Be a good boy. No, that's not a treat.
Not the first time you had somebody so hairy under your desk, right?
Well, there was that one chick, you know.
There you
go.
Let's see here.
Yeah.
What did I come into? Your mom's. Hold on. You're gonna ask, what did I just walk into?
With a username like that?
Come on.
Hold on. This is a perfect time for us. Where's the remote? This is the problem, because I have like so much crap going on my desk. I still got to clean this out, but I also have to clean up the rest of the house because we're redoing.
I told you, shelf.
But like, just look at the camera. With the name like that, really?
See, but you cut my face off.
Nobody cares.
Oh wait, on TikTok.
It's just on.
If you want to see my full face, you can go to YouTube and Twitch. That's where you pay the extra for my face.
Yeah. Yep, this is a Meshtastic device. This is a Meshtastic Echo. It's a nice standalone device. I've been using it all day. Found actually quite a few nodes while I was driving around, and it's got a nice little UI over here, so we can, you know, find the different nodes or program the channels. But yeah, this is touchscreen. Not going to show you the map, obviously, but you can go to the settings, and yeah, it's really nice. And then the only thing you need to know is that if you need to program it for you know, all the channels, pre-shared keys, things like that, you do have to put it into Bluetooth mode, which you do that by turning off the device. Did I show you how to do that?
You have to turn it off to put on Bluetooth?
So you have to turn it off. This is what's really interesting. So you have to turn it off, then turn it back on, and then when the screen comes up to the Meshtastic, it takes a second. Tap and hold.
That's stupid.
Yeah, and then you can connect it to your phone.
Does
and
it do that for a reason? Is it using the Bluetooth for something else, or does it just turn it off?
That's just how it works, I've noticed.
Okay.
How much does it cost? Can you connect to a phone still? So this is about $100. The Bluetooth is really just for programming. The idea is that this is going to be its own.
Was $100.
Right, the tariffs. We'll talk about that in a sec. And then you tap it again to reboot it.
I get to do that the whole stream now.
Yeah, so it's $100 now if you can get it. I got my links in you know, the bio, or you know, what is it, links.chiefgeek3.com under the product recs under, what is it, Meshtastic/Laura. It has a bunch of different Meshtastic devices you can use. I have a version over there. This has a 3D printed case, but you can mod this yourself if you want. And but I was gonna get an outside node with a solar panel, because you showed me one that actually looked really inexpensive for $90.
It just came out.
Yeah, it just came out, $90.
That was the same people that did the show the tracker,
the SenseCap. This one.
Yeah,
this is a really nice device. I was gonna get another one of these for my dogs, possibly two. So you can like put this on your backpack or that. It's really good because it actually has like the if you have like a work badge or something, it has the same lanyard.
Yeah,
you've probably seen this. So it's really great for that reason. But what I was going to do is get at least two of these, because when I go hiking with my dogs, it's also got GPS in there, so you can program it to, you know, start tracking it with your phone. And then let's say my dogs run away, I can then actually track them.
You can just call me.
Dude, you're in Jersey.
Yeah, but I'm still your dog. What up?
We have sounds.
Pi 4 and cheaper solar camera panel are nice DIY. Yeah, so that they are nice, but so all right, I'm gonna put this because my buddy and me just got into Meshtastic, and he was looking, and he's like, I found some nodes on Etsy for like 200, and I was like, yes. They're also really, really overpowered because they have the ability to go up in power. But you can't until you get amateur license.
You need an amateur license once you go beyond 5 watts, and you can do up to 50 watts, which is part of the reason why I got my ham license.
Now, it's really good for people who want to like DIY their way and learn a lot more, which is good. And I always recommend that. But some people aren't about the inner workings of it. They're just about the use. Right. So like my buddy that got into it too. He likes to know how it works, obviously, so he knows that like the security levels of it and all that.
Right.
But he's more about it actually working. Like he wants to just use it and go, which is why he was pretty upset when we couldn't connect to each other, because we're only a few miles away, but
you're in the
ground
city.
level. No.
Okay.
No, we're like
not
rural, but like in between rural and like suburban.
Okay.
There's also like a lot of trees around us.
That'll let
1W.
One
win. I won. I win.
No, you can do more than 1 watt with out of license. It depends on the baseband that you're on.
I thought it was only half a watt. For Meshtastic?
I thought it's a little bit more.
No, well, I think it's only.
Well, let's see. US 915 megahertz limit. Let's see.
Yeah, right there. No, it said it right. If you scroll up. Yeah, that.
discussion. Maximum transmit power limits of 915 megahertz. Now, bear in mind, this is specific to the U.S. If you're in the EU or other thing,
well, no, that you can file that under do your own research.
FCC, the maximum allowable radiation of 915 megahertz is given at field strength of 50 millivolts a meter at a distance of 3 meters. Yada, yada, yada.
There you go. 0.75 milliwatts.
That's radiated power.
Oh, yeah.
Not exactly.
I was about to say, because I was like, man, mine's like... No, actually, I think mine's like 0.1 watt.
Because even an FRS radio is like 2 watts.
Yeah.
And then you have to get a GMRS license to get the 5 watt.
Yeah, he did say it was, it shoots 1 watt is what I was saying. Oh, the Pi 4's limit 1 watt.
Oh, okay.
Sub-rural.
No, we're talking about legal limits in terms of if you,
like you
don't have an amateur license.
Amateur license, I know on most of the spectrums is what it's, well, I mean, to transmit, but, what is
it depends on the baseband, because, like, once you get your amateur license, you can do up to 1,500 watts on most bands, but some bands are limited to other things, like 200 watts. Yeah. I forgot on which band, but then, like, on the 915 megahertz band, I know specifically it's a 50-watt maximum, same with GMRS. So I eventually want to make a 50-watt Meshtastic device, but I also want to rebuild my ADS-B, my UAT, get into satellite imagery.
Only like 10 watts.
Yeah, you have to put an amplifier in.
Yeah.
So that's it. And then, of course, you know, you have to find an antenna that can handle that kind of payload, that's tuned to it, and that's when you're starting to use...
Don't buy them off of Amazon.
Yeah, you need to get, like, a proper one, like, from DX Engineering.
That's where I got mine, Amazon.
Yeah.
It sucks.
Yeah. I mean, the basic antennas you can get off Amazon, like what we got for our little LilyGo T Echoes.
Yeah.
Those are fine. Like, that one I actually lucked out with, and the SWR on it was pretty good. But once you start getting into more, you're going to need to start tuning your antenna, understanding vector network analyzers, all of that stuff. There's a lot that goes into radio. And that's why I actually tell a lot of people...
Yeah. So, Pharaoh's got a really good point. Sorry to cut you. Because I did see that if you get your ham, you can't have encryption over Meshtastic. You have to decrypt.
It's a...
No, it is. Because that's the whole amateur license thing. That's the one thing that gets me with, like, one of the reasons I kind of want to get into it, but I also don't.
Well, I think that's if you attach your ham call sign with it and stuff like that.
Oh, okay.
So, but out the box, if you're just doing, you know, Meshtastic, there's one... Once you actually start applying your call sign, then it gets into hairy areas. But if I'm literally just trying to make it as a repeater...
Yeah.
That Meshtastic, that it's not actually doing the messaging part of it, then that's a little bit different, which is what I'm trying to do for the 50 watt. I'm not trying to make a 50 watt main device. That would be a base station because the battery on that would be enormous. Like, imagine walking around with this, but then you have a home system with that.
Any parts kits you recommend?
Parts kits for...
I'm assuming Meshtastic.
There's quite a few different ones out there. Like, you can go with, like, the LilyGo T Echo, 3D print your own case. They have the T-Deck Plus, you know, that has all the parts together. There are some other custom kits out there with Smash, like you mentioned. There's also this little Heltec V3. You can get these little boards.
Yes.
These are great. They're inexpensive, about $15, though with Trump's tariffs, probably about $120.
I didn't even have to correct you.
I'm learning.
Yeah, so... Rockland is actually where I bought mine from.
Yeah, they're a great supplier for many different things. They have a nice LilyGo
I mean,
package.
They were. No, the tariff.
Yeah.
They're still a great supplier, but
if whatever they have in the warehouse now is at least going to be a decent price. What happens there later?
Yeah.
I think they actually made this kit that I picked up as well. Though I'll probably redo the entire case just because, like, it feels okay, but, you know, there's one thing when you, like, 3D print it yourself, you can get it to the way you want, and I thought it'd be interesting to, like, see, this is, like, hard. Remake this in TPU.
Is it hard? No, I got you. There you go. Moving all my emails to Proton, which
as I speak.
I didn't move all of mine, but everything I do now I do switch over to Proton.
Do you have any catch-all services you recommend? What do you mean by a catch-all specifically? Are you like, because Proton kind of has the ability to do a catch-all. If you're running your own custom domain, that is.
Yeah.
If you're running your own custom domain, you can do a lot more with it. Now, the cool thing with Proton, by the way, I'm just going to disclaim this. I am affiliated with them. There are links in the bio, but even though I am affiliated with them, I've been a long-time user, as Darko can attest, even before I was even affiliated.
You didn't say there was a test. I didn't study them. Fuck. And there goes TikTok.
Oh no! Wait. Oh.
So buy now. So all right. The only thing, whatever you want to call that name, on Twitch, but buy now, LOL. The only thing, everybody's gonna panic buy. I don't think this stuff. We'll get into it, but I don't think the tariffs are gonna last very long.
I think they are.
I think we're gonna have tariffs that stay.
Yeah.
But I don't think that, like, the super high stuff.
The tariffs as they stand now, they're going to come down because it's already biting Trump in the butt. You know, the reality.
Well, I mean, he's getting what he wanted.
Is he?
Well, I mean,
does anyone really know what he wants? Because, like, 1 minute he says one thing, and another he says another.
Well, all right. Let me rephrase.
He's the epitome of the Spice Girls. Tell me what you want, what you really, really want. So I'll tell you what I want, what I really, really
exactly.
want.
No. So the only thing I can say, like, from what I've seen, like, when they were talking about, like, pretty much what he was looking at was getting a lot of, like, the IP control and all with China, because they have a very, very bad problem with stealing all of our IP.
That's been known for a while, but it was going down.
I don't care
for a while,
about like the big companies, but it's like the smaller, like the people I was telling you earlier. Yeah, the Etsy's, where they go on, and when you hit like a certain selling threshold on Etsy and like other places like that, they pretty much copy all your shit.
Yeah,
and then they'll just sell it on Amazon and TikTok, and they flood all those markets, and then you can't make them for as cheap as they can.
Yeah,
but I think that, like, now that could be whatever gone, and now he's on to something else. But
he's like the worst undiagnosed ADHD person, if you realize that, with his attention span.
The two people in there are
what?
Him and Elune.
Oh, I like that pronunciation.
Elune. Now, no, honestly, it is because, like, sometimes, but the problem is, it's bad because I can follow it. That's how I know it's bad. Because I'm like, wait, hold on, I'm keeping pace with this. Man, they're as scattered as I am.
And that's what I think is messing Trump up, because he thought that, like, oh, I could do all this and I could flood it, but that he totally forgot TikTok has ruined our attention spans.
Yeah. I was having issues with Meshtastic API, so I kind of put it on. So I will say this, my buddy, he did kind of he still tries around with, like, his Meshtastic, especially if he drives around. But, like, in our area, there's, like, nobody to connect to.
Whereas there's been pretty good nodes around here.
Yeah, but, like, now traveling and stuff, we do get a lot.
Yeah, like, I just rebooted and I've got like 5 nodes I'm already seeing. That's just TikTok.
No, I know, but I think it's skipping some TikTok stuff. Because, like, he said, just the APIs.
No, there's TikTok APIs. Messages in between.
No, I know, but I'm trying. Where's the Meshtastic APIs?
Right there.
Okay, good.
See what
I'm blind.
But also, like, it's showing, like, the actual, like, actions in the stream, because because, like, if somebody redeems channel points on the Twitch side, I don't see it otherwise, so, like, I have to do an all or none situation.
I got you. So they're just gonna do whatever to use whatever country as a pass-through.
Well, a lot of Chinese companies are already moving to Vietnam.
No, they blocked that too.
Oh, they did?
That's why the joke with all the Penguin Island in Australia.
Oh, yeah.
And that's why they added tariffs to it, was because they were using that as a pass-through.
They're taxing my island?
They are.
They're taxing my island?
I think it falls into the Benjamin Franklin flag.
Tax this dick.
Yeah. Can you say that? I'm not getting it banned. You heard it. That was him.
Oh, well.
So Amazon Basic isn't already doing that.
I don't know what they mean by that.
I think that was, you know what? No, I think I saw that come up when we were talking about the IP stuff. Maybe he was talking. Amazon's really bad with IP. Like,
well, they have so much crap, and they don't care as long as they're making the money.
Pretty much. Well,
like you have to come at them with a DMCA.
Yeah.
You have to hit them with the DMCA. The problem is, like, yes, China, they have definitely been copying things, but the interesting thing I've noticed, and this is from friends of mine that are actually Chinese that have come here to work, and they go back and forth. The culture's kind of shifting because before, yes, China really just knew how to duplicate, but now they're actually creating a lot of their own stuff that, weirdly enough, that they're not liking a lot of that, like, what's the word? Perception of China. Although it is very funny. Have you seen the oh, you're good. Oh, that was what I was going to bring out earlier. Anyway, the Tik Tok with the
pull that out on stream.
My pull-out game is strong. But like they are did you see the manufacturers, like the luxury manufacturers in TikTok calling them out, like the people that were apparently making like the Birkin bag?
Oh yeah.
So like that's what's interesting to see. And they're suing them because they're like, well, no, this isn't true. And the response has been, just show us your factory then.
Yeah.
But the reality is, all they're doing is they're getting the same bag and they're finishing the product in Italy, in France, or whatever. And I've been saying this for years. You and I were talking about this for years. And I'm like, there's got to be a reason why these dupes look so good. And the reason why is they're not really dupes.
No, they take them off the line. Yeah.
And like, I've always cracked up, and you've heard the same shit where we don't mind like spending a little bit more on quality stuff. Like you and I both buy stuff from 511 and things like that.
My pants.
Yeah, you just went to the 511 store. But you know, we like 511, and you know, but I think some of their
don't even get me started on my work shit.
Yeah.
You know how much my boots are?
How much?
Yes.
About 200.
230.
Okay.
That's just the boots.
Yeah.
I also buy laces.
What are they, Red Wings or?
I unfortunately this time had to go Red Wings. For anybody who doesn't know, when you get into construction and you find a boot that you really like, buy them.
Oh yeah.
No, like as many as you can.
Yeah, because
they're going to discontinue them, and you'll never see them again.
I don't know, the 511. What is it?
No, 511's different. I'm talking like
you're
real
talking like
work boot. Like, like Georgia boot.
Like how Doc Martin used to be before they went to crap.
Thorough Goods. The Red Wings and all. Yeah, they all have this problem where like they're like, oh yeah, we're gonna get rid of this boot.
Now, do you ever take those boots to a cobbler to like keep them around, or is it like kind of just once they're done, they're done?
My problem is like a lot of people just assume like the bottom of the boot goes. No, for me it's the bottom, the sides, and all that. They all go. So, honestly, when you get into like that, like my boots are like $250 probably when I'm done. Because I also, like I said, I do Kevlar laces. Because we do, like, I do a lot of cutting of steel, so I always get a lot of sparks of what'll happen.
Well, you should always put good money into a good pair of boots, and I tell this to people all the time.
They only last like 6 months though.
What? Oh, well, you're hard on them because you have to work in them.
Yeah, I actually do work. I use them what they're for.
Yeah, but like that's
kicking the shit out of
stuff.
But
you know, you see people that go to Walmart get the $50 pair of boots, and then they wonder why they wear out so fast. I'm like, because you bought a $50 pair of boots.
Well, like so at work, and I know a lot of people they like the Wolverine DuraShocks. I think they actually stopped making them, but they're like, oh, they're so comfortable, but they only last like 3-4 months. And it's like, dude, I want like a boot that I can wear to the point like it's sorry, but it's screwed. And then like the side starts to blow out, and then I'm like, all right, now or like my big thing, like I'll get a hole in the bottom of the sole because of the shovel and all.
Yeah.
But let's see.
We'll see. I think like anyone with social media presence is already tuned to 6-second attention span.
Well, that's everything now.
Especially you.
Twitch.
Boobs. Ooh, boobs. Ooh, boobs.
Dude, it's not just boobs. Ass. Let's see here.
Donkey.
I'm starting customer consultant. Internally
Glow Cloud and Sec and and as a SEC consultant security.
Oh.
Okay.
Cool. High five.
Yeah, high five.
All right.
Bet AI is helping out a lot with creating things. I wouldn't say creating. So like,
no.
Here's the thing. AI is only as good as the information you put. It's the same thing as computers altogether. Garbage in, garbage out. Like I've told y'all this before. I use AI to help not craft scripts, but refine what I would say. Because you can tell a big difference between a few months ago when I was just recording off the cuff and when I was actually able to script it, put it on the teleprompter, the Elgato teleprompter I have, and then read through it. I do use AI to at least craft it a little bit more to flow a little bit better, but I have to put the information in there, and I'm still spending, I'd say, a good 45 minutes to an hour refining things through AI on top of when I put it in.
So, I'm going to say this. One of my favorite uses for AI, right, is actually...
Your girlfriend?
Yes. No, so what happens is, like, I get really bored. So I do a few things. Like, one of the things I did was, we were at work and we were driving back to the yard, and many of the things that, like, we talk about in the truck is really weird.
Thank you for the follow, Zip Linux.
Thank you. One of the many things we talk about, like, random stuff, came up. Okay? If a moose was dropped out of an airplane, which is illegal in Alaska, you can't do that.
How? What?
But if it was dropped, how much damage could it do?
I have to wonder, why did they make that a law? Who actually did this to make it a law?
Well, somebody pushed it out.
But then again, this is Canada. They made the check.
No. Alaska.
Oh, Alaska? Okay.
Yes. So anyway, we thought, right? And we found out through ChatGPT, right? A moose, weight-wise, is equivalent at terminal velocity of, I think it was like 1.5 kilograms of TNT, which can take out like a quarter of like a 1,500 square foot home rancher.
Can you imagine a guy that's like, F you, I'm gonna drop this moose palm on you?
Well, then I used it because I was like, well, tactically, how many moose could you drop? Now, we don't exactly know how big like a B-2 Spirits Bombay is, right? But we do know how big, like we do, but you know, we know exactly how big like a B-52's Bombay is.
Okay.
So I said, how many moose can you fit in a Bombay? And it doesn't matter if like you have to rotate it. You can fit 6 inside of a B-52.
Okay. Random thought is, if it's goose
Tactical
that's geese, then is it moose or meats?
No, it's still moose.
Weird.
It's like it's like deer.
English, huh?
It's not deer. But no, I use it for that, or like generating stories and
Speaking of random like animal theoretical things, so at work, everyone in cyber, I went to the office today. We had 20 people crowding around for that 100 people versus a gorilla thing. You know, the thing that was brought up last night?
Oh, yeah.
And you know what's even funnier was we went on Reddit because someone actually put up, hey, I need 99 men to show up at the local zoo. I want to try something.
You got an ad starting in like 20 seconds on Twitch.
Yeah.
Well, no, I'm just saying the people on Twitch are going to miss it.
You're going to miss what?
This invigorating conversation. And plus, Bank said, you know who looks good, and that guy in blue. Actually, he couldn't even spell blue right.
Are you blue about him not spelling blue?
You know what I think? I think he's a little on the can't spell side.
Oh.
On
the special bus stops.
Oh, I couldn't. Totally on the yeah. I know you are.
Really like your content. Thanks. Thank you, Tyler. Good to see you again, Dasu.
Here,
just make sure they're steel toe. So you don't always need steel toe. Here's the thing. Well,
mine are required.
Composite toe is another option.
It is. Which is what I like to go with. Because
there are issues safety-wise as well as in the cold with steel toe.
So I have a buddy of mine who hates it. Right?
What, steel or composite?
Steel. Well,
okay.
Steel toes. But he actually doesn't like any toes, but with our work, you have to have them.
Was that because he lost his toe in a tragic accident?
No.
Okay.
It's just, he doesn't like a lot of new things.
You'd show up to work in flip-flops, probably.
Dude, I would. But, no, so, honestly, though, I'll say is, steel, I do prefer composite toe, because the way it was explained to me was if something impacts, composite's going to shatter, and they're going to have to dig out the, like, what's left of your toes. But steel will
Cut
smash.
them.
No, not even, like, just squish.
Mm-hmm.
And it stays like that.
Ooh.
Yeah, so you have a better chance of losing your toes.
Yeah.
Darko, I'm your biggest fan. Cool. You'll probably, like me, go nowhere in life. Let's see here.
Thoughts on banking with Linux, and I mean like an app. I mean, most apps for banking are on a website when you're on a desktop, or if, you know, you're on a phone.
And there's not really any apps. I wouldn't use an app.
Yeah, I wouldn't really. I mean,
that'd
like,
be really weird.
Other than like for my
you
phone.
Know what? Hold on. I just made an app. It's called Bank R Us. It's got a lot of U's in it. You can download it at oozeuse.com.
Damn, Oozeuse, I forgot about that. Mm-hmm. You bought that domain.
I still have that domain. Where can I find your PFP logo? I'm assuming that's you, because they don't know what mine is.
That's a custom logo that was made for me.
Who made it?
Sugar.
There you go. You could promote.
Yeah. If you want it made, if you want your own logo made, you can definitely reach out to Sugar Lou in the Discord. She's always taking orders for graphic design and everything. She's great. Done all of my graphic designs, so if you see my streams and all the graphics and everything, that's her work.
Yeah, for me, wintertime composite, summertime steel. So, I will say this. I only have one pair of boots. All right, no, I lied.
You're not losing
I have
from
two.
shoving them up people's butts.
Well, I pull them out.
Yeah.
But like beads very quickly.
That took me a second.
What's in the glass is adult juice.
Blueberry adult juice.
Yeah. From blueberry fields. So.
Is that your husband? No.
It is. It's a lover of the night. Dude, I'm telling you. TikTok's gotten a lot looser with their rules, and then now they're gonna ban you. They're gonna. That's the key word.
Well, it's nice seeing y'all.
Nah, so
I think it was me setting it to Schedule 1 allows it to be more loose.
Oh, you do like it loose.
What, you gotta, prep. But no, this is not my husband. This is one of my best friends. He came up, but it's been a couple of years since I've seen him in person. We hang around and mess around, and not in that kind of way, but
I had one feeling and you heard it.
Surprised you had any.
I know. His side chick.
Does it take 2 or 3 jigs to complete a dock to stock? What? No, I don't know what you're referring to. Dock to stock.
Right over there. I don't know. Don't ignore, please help.
I don't know, but I definitely can't ignore a name like that.
I don't know. It's interesting.
Yeah.
It's a good name.
This is Tech and Chill. Yeah, it's Tech and Chill. And then a little bit here we're
gonna... I know who that is. Those are my people. Oh, yeah. I knew Spank. I was just gonna see if he was gonna screw with you first.
Oh.
But yeah.
Ghost in the Wire by Kevin Mitnick. Yeah, that was a great book. I haven't read that in a while, but yeah, Kevin Mitnick was pretty epic. One of my mentors, actually, she used to date him many years ago, like before he was married and everything.
Well, I would hope so.
Yeah, I hope so too. I mean, that would
I don't know,
put her.
I
In
mean,
a whole different light.
everybody's just whipping it out now.
I mean, 2020s, man.
I know.
It's like the 1960s and 2000s.
That's crazy.
Just free love.
You know, all right, hold on. So, me and the guy I work with have this thing where Nick Farrow is just like, that's crazy. So we have this thing where, like, you know, when you're on the phone with somebody and you're like 3 yes and 2 yeah, that's crazy into a conversation, and the people still haven't understood that you have phased out like a half an hour ago. You're like, yeah, wow, that's crazy, dude.
That's Sniper Wolf. That's
crazy. Wow, yeah. Oh my God, really?
That reminds me of, like, you know, the voicemails I used to leave, you know, because, like, you can use, like, Umail and all, you Google voicemail and all that, and you can leave custom voicemails for different people.
Yeah.
So with, you know, several of my ex-girlfriends, every once a week I would rotate the voicemail, and it would be like, hey, babe, how you doing? Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Yeah? That's great.
Is that why they're the ex now?
No, that's because they were just...
That's why they turned into the ex. Chat is drunk.
I can save money, we can eat, get money in the time, even kind of when I sleep. Wake up, getting bread, to do this for the streets, ADHD. It cuts out sometimes.
There you go. You gotta read his thing.
What's it say?
Down at the bottom.
Just went from demanding. Oh, that's the bot that automatically, like, yeah, so that's a bot that I make it get sassy. No. Thank you for that.
I didn't put it past.
Thank you for that gifted sub out there, Genital Thunderstorm. That's a name you can...
No, come on, you gotta say it. Come on.
What?
Say his name.
Genital Thunderstorm.
There you go.
Just went from demanding attention to gifting it with a sub. Looks like they found the ultimate dock-to-stock solution in Chief Geek 3D stream. Thanks for electrifying the chat with your support, and remember, no jigs required for this kind of thunderstorm. Yeah, I have an LLM that does like little sassy chats in there, keeps it alive. Yeah. That was a great summarization, but still no answers. You came here for answers?
Yeah, dude, he's crazy.
What's up, Rob?
He is licking my toes again.
He has a foot fetish.
I only like that when it's that lady at the corner.
I mean, he's just as hairy.
You're right. And a lot cleaner.
No track marks, Ma.
There is neither. Just all gibberish. Yes. Gibberish is what we...
LOL reminds me of a radio stunt where they have a half-hour dirty joke where they say the first part and then 30 minutes later tell the punchline, so unless you stuck around, nobody gets the joke or gets the punchline. I used to be that lady on the corner.
You know what it is? Dock the stock. I think it's not the butt. I think I just got that. Dock the stock.
Docking.
And stock is like the gun. Not the butt. See, you could have said not the butt. Blue shirt is a clone. I told him before, you're the clone of me. Just less sexy.
I mean, it's funny,
you know
how people think
for me is the jiggle physics.
What, the chum, what is the...
Yeah, so you don't have that, I got that.
The truffle shuffle? Come on, do it. Come on, do it. Goonies.
Receiving goods at a warehouse loading docks.
In the process of receiving...
Is that your LLM?
No, that's them. This includes all internal...
Truffle shuffle.
Oh, they're remaking the...
I take my shirt off, but Chief probably will be disappointed when I get him banned from Twitch.
Yeah, at least save that for the OF.
Yeah. What else did I see that they were remaking? There was something that I saw.
They're remaking a lot of stuff because they don't have any original ideas.
No. Oh, you're doing that.
Yeah, I'm just prepping that.
God. I literally...
Thank you for the follow,
I was just talking to my buddy about it, what they were remaking. God, it'll come to me, but it's like they're going after everything that was really good, and they're gonna remake it, and it's gonna be crap, and it sucks. Tell my cousin hello, Chief.
Hulk Hogan, 171. I guess that's your cousin.
I don't know. I don't know who. I think I don't know.
Maybe.
Maybe.
I mean.
Who knows? Oh. No. I don't know if that's him. I don't know.
They're gonna find you IRL and be like, "What the hell, man?"
Yeah. Yeah, I have this random name on there. Oh. That's the cousin I told you about.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Yeah, I know that came.
Dude, how do you not? All right. I always forget this. I have YouTube Premium.
Mm-hmm.
You should too, because you have Google Fi.
I'm not logged in on that account. I have Google Fi under another account. I'm gonna have it for the discount for the next phone. Better view of the video. You guys should jump over to YouTube or.
Got back from a trip to Israel. All I got is a fistful of chuckles.
Wait.
Listen, Linda. Oh my God. Listen, if I don't understand why I can't quote Hebrew Hammer.
Circumcision confirmed. Final test.
Oh my God.
I love using those when I'm on Wolfenstein, especially. Burst in a room, throw a grenade.
What's that? What's the end part of that? Yeah, the video we're gonna watch. Make sure you put it on TikTok.
Oh, I will in a sec.
But yeah, if you're on TikTok, you can watch the video a little bit better on Twitch and YouTube.
Yep. 1 second. I just want to make sure the audio pipes through.
Oh yeah, you gotta check that pipe out.
With the pipe wire.
Yeah.
Front, left.
Yeah, okay, it's coming through.
And it said front right for me.
Well, for you, yes, because what I have it do is I have pipe wire with that little script. I read between the lines. Okay, so for God damn it!
And vacation rentals, Booking.com has something for everyone.
You got anything more?
Good job.
Okay, so for those of you not aware, apparently PewDiePie made a Linux video talking about I installed Linux, so should you. And it was interesting to see a guy that wasn't a tech guy, or he doesn't proclaim himself to be a tech guy, talk about you should use Linux.
Does he have purple RGB?
Probably. It's you're having this whole turning the corner moment, because I remember it was a few years ago when people were like, dude, Linux is never even going to be, you know, like, I mean, yes, you can have your complaints about like Linux for some use cases, like even with Windows, I have to use the Elgato.
Dude, I always get all the crap when I'm like, they're like, oh, yeah, it just works. I was like, no, I normally have to figure a workaround when I do mine.
Yeah.
But honestly, that's like, I would say like 5% of the games that I play.
Yeah. And like, it's very viable now if you want to use Linux. And I think Windows 11 pissed off a lot of people, that it's actually making a lot of people consider alternatives to Windows. And Microsoft, I think, really dropped the ball in that regard.
Yeah, but the problem is that they've got enough market share that honestly, and like people are so, it's like Apple, you know, people who are on Apple, they're not going to leave Apple.
Well, at the end of the day, Microsoft makes most of its money from enterprise than it does the end user.
Yeah, but the end user's still going to use Windows.
Yeah,
You'll get like a little bit of a switch, but that'll take like that. The rate that we're going, like projecting out, you're probably looking at like at least 20 years till Linux has a sizable market share.
We'll see. You know, things have happened, but like you also look at like the computer market and everything. This is probably the longest period of like a monolithic culture we've had. Because like if you remember when we were kids, like there was a lot of options. There wasn't just Mac and Windows. There was BOS, there was Linux, you even had straight Unix, you had Sun OS, you had all these different options, and then Microsoft
down.
Well, Microsoft was a bully on the playground, if we remember.
It was, but at the same time, a lot of those were primarily focused at like one thing very well, and that kind of drained out when Microsoft came in and said, "Hey, look, here's Windows 95. Guess what you can do?"
Well, Windows 95 was kind of interesting, although it's kind of funny to read that Steve Ballmer said, "I don't know what this TCP/IP stack is, but just install it so they can stop bothering me." Like, that tells you how far behind Windows was at the time, because TCP/IP is now a ubiquitous thing.
Yeah.
And Windows before 95, you had to install Trumpet to get IP working.
Before you get into this, there was actually a really good talk I saw about how TCP/IP has to be abandoned. Because if theoretically, if you're interplanetary, it doesn't exactly work.
Oh yeah,
because TCP/IP doesn't work if your lag is like, 3 minutes.
Well, yeah, it wasn't designed for being outside of the world.
Yeah, so like locally you could, but extra locally you'll they're looking to just abandon it and then work on something else that might actually work interplanetarily.
Yeah, definitely, but we're not there yet. I mean, yeah. But let's see what PewDiePie is gonna say.
Get him drunk and give him a Star of David tattoo.
Little kid.
It's so weird because like last time I watched PewDiePie was that whole like controversy when he almost got like
yeah. You know what? I don't think I've ever watched PewDiePie.
I don't think I really have either. Like I just saw a couple videos.
I don't think ever.
Me neither. Except for like when it was viral, like the couple moments.
Yeah, okay.
Those Mac OS. Don't worry.
I kind of am annoyed about the little crackles he has.
Install Linux.
Yeah.
What if I told you can look like this?
And this is really watching.
Let me start this off.
I hate when people get into editing.
You saw my
and they like
building video.
Really.
Is that actual lighting or is that just him
I'm surprised
compensating?
the whole thing hasn't
I
exploded.
know it's just lighting.
I don't
It's
know.
like sitting next to a bomb every day.
He paid
But
extra for
what you
that.
did see was 0.5 seconds of the video where I installed Linux on the thing, and a lot of people just went, What? Some people seem surprised and confused.
Turn off my music.
Something possessed him to put Linux on it.
Some people were excited. At the time, I didn't know the power that I had. I was like a baby with a rocket launcher. For years, I have been tortured
interesting
by
phrase.
Windows. But now, alas, I am finally free. I escaped the Windows cave.
Overwatch with a penguin.
I saw the sun. The shadows are gone.
I think so.
It blinded me for a moment. And now I'm speaking to you in the cave. Enough reference. Okay, so I'm gonna yap about Linux for as long as this video is, and you're gonna listen. I want to start off by going through the reasons why I switched to Linux. It's different for everybody. Number one is how backlit this shot is.
Okay, so at least he did realize it's an issue.
Yeah.
Goddamn ads.
Number one, Windows.
Subscribe so I can afford the YouTube Premium.
Oh my
I
God.
might be, but that does not warrant. You want Candy Crush? You want Candy Crush on your computer?
Okay, that is true. I hate the fact that Candy Crush is on there, and that's a big reason why I always install Enterprise.
Are you sure you want to delete
I
that
don't want to
file?
debloat my system like that.
Are you super duper sure you want to delete the file? That's how it talks to me, and I don't like it.
Man.
Linux, on the other hand, literally puts a gun in your hand and says,
Yeah. You want to nuke your file system? You can
My
nuke your
first
file
sort of
system.
aha moment when I install Linux or
Windows
started
used to let you
using it was,
delete System 32.
wait a minute, it does exactly
Now it's
what
on
I want it
guardrails.
to. And this is a really powerful feeling about that. I do want to show you guys my setup as well. I will get into that. But first, reason number two. As an epic minimalist, the bloat. The bloat is real. It always bothered me. Anytime I install a new Windows, I spend
Yeah, but
like
some
an
Linux
hour
does come with a
trying to
bit of bloat.
uninstall
They
all the
do,
pre-patched
but not to the level like
And
Windows.
you can
Well,
remove it permanently.
Windows is
you
like
can. Windows you
$8
can't. Because like you do an
or
update, it can
whatever for me,
reinstall
but,
everything.
I'm still gonna put ads in here. Yes. Put a little AI in here. You want that, right? That doesn't benefit me.
I hate the fact
For
that
you,
everything
the
has
consumer.
AI included.
Bing! It doesn't benefit
The
me
blockchain
that
of
you use Bing,
2025
but
and 2024.
please use
Oh, yeah.
Bing. Microsoft is an annoying suite, apparently. With Linux, nothing. Serenity. Peace. Don't even get me started on the Windows taskbar.
Yeah, you
Oh,
can
that
add
what's
shit
on your
to make
computer.
stuff start at startup.
Duh, it's
Yeah.
obvious.
Yeah,
How
you,
is this
it,
not a thing?
nothing
You have to go to
starts.
startup
Reason number 3.
applications and then
Yes.
modify it, or you can
Customization. I
modify your
discovered
init
this
files or something like that, or
afterwards.
systemd.
Customizing
Yeah.
on Linux is a beautiful thing.
I like
In
the fact that you have to
Windows, you can
add
maybe
things in
change the
Linux. You don't have to
wallpaper,
remove
change a
things like in
little bit of
Windows. And it takes
colors,
more time
you do.
to set up your
Linux,
initial
you can
Windows than it
change
does a Linux.
reality itself. Since Linux is built modular, you can swap out your GUI entirely. You don't even have to use one.
I don't know
You
when
can
the
cut
last time I
off the
heard
head of
someone refer
Linux
to
and
it
it'll
as
still be like, hey,
GUI.
I'm here. What's up? Customizing
always
on
gooey.
Linux is called rising, and I got way too into it.
So I heard from a lot of
I
people he did do a
cooked
lot deeper
hard.
than what most people
I
do.
can't wait to show you guys.
Because I'm a
Now, reason number
basic
4,
B and just
gaming.
Yeah.
install
Gaming on
Pop
Linux
OS,
is
dark
finally
mode, center of the
real.
Yeah.
bar,
I actually installed Linux
get to the race,
15 years
put my
ago.
desktop
That's
Super
when
on.
I'm
duper
old.
hacker.
And I
just wanna get to the
uninstalled
apps,
it
'cause,
for
like,
a couple days, as a
the
lot of
app's what I'm
people
mostly
do,
trying to
when
use.
They realize, oh, I can't use the things I need on Linux. And for me, that was gaming back then, because it's like, well, then what's the point?
Yeah, gaming on Linux used to be a pain. I remember doing that with Doom 3, Enemy
Oh, yeah.
Territory,
So
Quake
Valve
Wars,
came
Quake
in
4,
like Gandalf's in Hell's
with
Deep,
AMD,
writing a
with
Steam Deck
ATI,
with
FGLRX
So again,
drivers.
this is a
That was a
perfect
pain.
example how Linux
Yeah, but
benefits
everything's a
everyone.
lot better
The
now,
fact
especially
that
Steam.
Valve, as a
Valve
company,
really.
recognizes
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they
There you go.
simplified a lot.
Microsoft has a bit too much
Barely
power.
configure my
If they
environment that
wanted
much
to and
anymore. I'm
started
all
being
keyboard.
shady,
Well, pretty
locking
much.
things down, taking cuts. They absolutely could, and it's not like it would be uncharacteristic.
Excuse me, they tried Steam OS.
So Valve started improving
back
gaming
in
on
the day.
Linux,
Yeah.
boosted driver support.
But the
and they
original
built
Steam
on what
OS was
already
cool.
there from
But
open
that
source
got them
software
into
like
Linux.
Wine. By doing this, Valve benefits.
I think it was-
Wine's not an
consumer
emulator.
benefits, ecosystem grows. Win.
Literally stands
win,
for that.
Win. It really feels like an alternate reality. This totally could not have been a thing. And it also makes me realize just how many things can be better if people just weren't so greedy. Can we just fix them? So
I
thank
agree
you,
with
Linux,
that.
And thank you, Base Gaben. Now I've gone through the reasons why I switched to Linux. Let me just explain why maybe not switching is a good idea. Because everything good comes with a sacrifice.
Oh yeah.
True. God
Good
damn.
job. You know, I always like when people show me a video on
If you're
YouTube
swapping
and it
to
has
Linux,
ads,
you'll likely
and I'm
have
like,
to give
I always
something
forget that they
up.
have
I
ads.
don't know what it is, but for me, it was Photoshop.
As in,
I used Photoshop again for 15 years.
Okay,
All the
Photoshop.
shortcuts, all my workflow, it's all baked into my brain. The way I use Photoshop, I don't think about it. It's just, here's the thumbnail. It's not beautiful, but I get the job done. Unfortunately, Adobe is a garbage company, and their
Totally agree with
software
that.
just won't run on Linux.
Adobe's abused
A
their
lot of artists
position
are jumping
really
ship.
badly.
They don't want to use Adobe anymore because they realize it's a terrible company. Me,
I
as
like
well,
Hayden Live
thought,
for my
you know
video
what?
editing. Works pretty
It's
nicely.
time. I'll swap over. I know.
I might go
the
to
open
DaVinci
source
Resolve, but
alternative
Hayden
is
Live's
good.
doing
I've
perfectly
heard
fine
about
for
this
me.
forever, and I thought, you know, it'll feel good. I'll feel good leaving
I
Adobe.
wonder how much he
So
likes the
I'm
fact that
ready.
he gets to
I
refer
go
to his
their
software as
website,
good.
I click through this 1,000 pages. I crawl through the bushes just to find the goddamn unsubscribe button, and I was so
Canva is
ready.
really
It's gonna
running their
be
money on and Microsoft on publishing.
unsubscribe.
Yeah, I use Canva for my
what
clips
happened?
at least
You know
because
what
it's
happened?
easy for that
They hit
aspect
me
of
with
it.
an
GIMP's a little bit
unsubscription
overpowered for that.
fee.
What?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Adobe does the early termination fees and all that janky
yep.
I'm sorry, what?
BS.
I have to pay to not use your software?
Yeah, everybody loves Adobe.
Adobe used to be
It
great.
was like 65
Like back
bucks
when
or
you used to be able to
something.
spend
Insane.
$600, get the software for a lifetime, and then
If anything,
Yeah,
it just made me realize, okay, it's over. I'm never going back. So like I said, the open source alternative is GIMP.
Now I can.
And since this is Linux, open source, you can do whatever you want. I
Mhm.
downloaded this icon pack that changed the icons so they look like the
Yep.
Photoshop icons. That helped a little bit. Then I downloaded a shortcut.
see, I don't think I'd ever do that because I've never used Adobe, so it's not.
Boom,
Well, yeah, if
made it a
you're
little
used to
easier.
it,
you know,
that
I'm still
kind of
not
stuff,
100%
yeah.
used to it, but the fact that I can do stuff like this really helps. For me personally, a worthy sacrifice. I hope this doesn't sound like copium, but genuinely, it feels good that I was able to move on. At the end of the day,
I'm glad that a
tools
lot of
are
people can
only
stick
gonna
it to
work on
Adobe.
Windows and only gonna
Well,
work on Mac.
the big thing
but
is,
what
like,
you gain on Linux is so much more.
Your hatred for
Freedom.
Windows has to
Join
overpower
us.
your
I'm
willingness
just
to
praying that
actually
Adobe's not just
not
gonna
doing it
show up
anyway.
one day and be like, "There's another fee." I'll meet them in a dark alleyway. They'll be like, "That's a little fee." Now that I've convinced you to swap to Linux, you have the wonderful choice of picking a distro. Yay, so many of them. I hear people going like, I don't know which one to pick. What do I do? There's so many. Just pick
what?
one.
Oh, yeah, go back.
What?
Go back.
That?
There you go. Yeah. All right. So first off,
You don't. I have not even touched like a bunch of these.
so hold on.
Not a bunch,
First
but a
off,
few of these.
starting off. Okay, purely starting off. Fresh to Linux. Don't use Arch.
Yeah, don't. Or Gentoo.
Oh, hold on. We'll go down the list. You can do Debian. Debian is a little bit more intuitive. You need a lot more work, but good. Fedora.
Debian was my second one I did after Slackware, but Slackware was like
I haven't used Fedora, so I can't say. I know it's just Red Hat, but without what is it?
it's
not supported.
it's another RHEL Red Hat Enterprise Linux. Like it's based on that whole model, but it's not IBM / the Red Hat Corporation.
But they also did something else. Remember there was like that big issue a while ago.
I think that had to do. Are we talking about where?
No, it was Fedora Red Hat, where Red Hat was like, we're not gonna keep up with the.
Oh yeah, they messed up the repos and stuff.
Yes,
that one. Yeah.
Yeah, because they pulled the repos.
That also messed up CentOS and a
Yes.
few other things too. So like all the RHEL types got messed up.
Breastsite Linux.
Foresight, never heard of it. Never used it.
I think he literally just like went to like.
I think he just
Linux.
wanted to get enough to like like never use Slacks.
Gentoo I've installed. That's again not a starter.
Yeah, that's an investment of time.
Mandriva.
Touched it, not really used it much.
Good, like starter. Good,
Yeah.
no good.
I wouldn't really start with that.
It's
an
Linux
older one.
Mint, I think it can be a good starter one.
It can be, but I think I still have the sour taste from when they got their website, filled with malware and were distributing malicious ISOs. I know it was a few years ago.
Yeah.
It's just still that sour taste in my mouth.
Yeah.
And I feel like it gives some kind of bad habits too.
Yeah.
Because they're still trying to like wade in that Windows and Linux world.
Yeah.
Whereas like I think you need to like get people to understand like you're not using Windows anymore. You need to at least be comfortable with that you have the ability to choose a bit more.
Yeah. So anything with Ubuntu is normally beginner, but there's
Ubuntu is Ubuntu with KDE.
Yeah.
Ubuntu is a one I've used for many years with XFCE, very lightweight. You've also got Lubuntu, which isn't in there, which is LXDE.
Ubuntu Studio.
Ubuntu
is just Ubuntu
with all the multimedia and all that
so
built in.
if you're looking into like editing and stuff, like kind of what PewDiePie is doing, Ubuntu Studio is really good for that.
But then again, you can also just nowadays, like I just grab the app image for Kden Live.
Yeah.
Boom, done. Configure Pipewire as needed. Audacity
as a starter. Pretty
much.
much
If you just need everything out the box. But the honest truth is, Ubuntu Studio has like almost every tool that it's kind of like the same thing as Kali. That like you're gonna have all these tools and you're not gonna know what the hell to do with most of them.
Yeah. So
it feels a little bloated.
I've never used Slacks. I've heard Slackware.
Slackware is one of the OG granddaddy distros. Like one of the first ones. That was one of the first I tried.
So not a good starter one.
It's interesting to play with. It was great back in the day. There's a reason why I moved from Slackware to Debian and Debian types really fast, which by the way, Ubuntu is a fork of Debian. So it kind of fits into that kind of ethos.
Sabian.
Sabian. That's not really one I think that's still around. I could be mistaken. I haven't really seen it around much.
Me neither. Red Hat, you need to have.
I think Sabian was Gentoo.
Red Hat.
I could be mistaken.
You have to have
You have to buy a license.
Yes.
But in enterprise, you will use Red Hat
because
quite often. Well, no. It's not just that. You pay for the support from IBM. So that if anything goes wrong, you can actually get an engineer from IBM to work on it. Yeah. We use it at work, and AWS Linux is actually based on Red Hat too.
Okay.
So like if it works in Red Hat, it'll usually work in AWS Linux, and that's pretty much what you're going to be using in AWS, which is the most common. But yeah.
So PC Linux OS.
Never use that.
Okay.
And then you got
OpenSUSE. I've used a little bit. I think
that's more popular in Germany and like Europe.
Well, I think it is. I still like it is a good it's an okay starter one.
Yeah, it is.
Now for me, because Dude Brotherington asked, "What's your favorite distro, bros?" You spelled it wrong first.
I use Pop OS primarily as my go-to for a lot of things.
Favorite.
It's kind of
He asked
between
for a
Pop
favorite.
OS and Cubes OS.
So,
And
see, mine, Hannah Montana Linux.
that goes without saying.
Exactly. So no, honestly,
but
I think
OpenSUSE is a nice one to start with too, but it's more popular in Europe. There is an enterprise version, like it's kind of like the counterpart to Red Hat. They have SLES, SUSE Linux Enterprise, however it stands. But OpenSUSE is the open source version.
Do you have red cups down here?
Yeah, there's red Soul cups over there.
Okay, I'm just grabbing water real quick.
Can you grab me a cup too, if you could?
Yeah, sure.
The cooler's right there.
Watching this, the PewDiePie, I don't think you can do it drunk.
But yeah, there's a lot of different Ubuntu is a thing. Isn't that the Uwu version of Ubuntu that for the Uwu people?
Well, that's obviously my version.
Of course it would be.
I mean, gotta do it for the Uwu.
SUSE uses a weird package manager. It's not weird. It's actually using apt. It's just the packages are packaged differently. You have to remember, years ago, before, Debian was one of the more popular ones, there was you had Debian, you had SUSE, you had Red Hat, you had all these different distributions, and everyone thought they had a better approach for things. Ubuntu just happened to run straight out ahead of the pack. Zypper is apt. They used to use apt. I haven't used it since they used Zypper, but I remember when I was using it, it was apt. They may have switched over. I haven't used SUSE in years, but every a package manager is a package manager. It's just there to manage packages. It still does it better than Windows. Windows only added winget because of how bad package management was in Windows. Thank you. Here's the thing about Linux when I say it's a lot easier to set up. You can easily start your computer, open up I'm going to use Pop OS as an example. Open up the Pop Shop, install Steam, install whatever browser you need. If you're not using anything other than Firefox out of the box, or you can grab the .deb or .app image, or you can even flat pack everything, and you can pull everything in. Honestly, from start to finish, after the OS is installed, I can probably set up Linux to where I can just start working on it, excluding the, things like hooking in my NAS and the nuances of things that you would have to do anyway on a Windows box. I'd say about 20, 30 minutes, you're good to go, wouldn't you say, on a Linux install? Fresh?
Oh, dude, quicker than that.
Yeah.
When I was doing my build, I mean, if I knew what I was doing, and I still did a custom one, actually set up all the,
I'm talking about, I flat pack everything. So,
you're talking, full and...
everything. Fully get it to the workflow I need. Apps, app images, setting up the shortcuts, all that.
I have... Well, let me rephrase that. I had a script that did all that. So mine was a lot quicker when I would, reinstall. The problem is I lost my script.
But that's another thing, is you can script it, and you can... Everything you can do in Linux in a GUI, you can do in a script. Whereas in Windows...
You can script.
You can, kind of, but...
No, you can still... There's a lot of scripts and stuff.
There is, but I'm talking about, a person that isn't a very, power usery type person.
Well, yeah, but that's the same thing for Linux. It's kind of a pain in the ass.
Well, I'm saying you can figure out Bash a lot easier than you can PowerShell.
That's true.
Yeah.
All right.
Let's continue.
I hear people going I don't know which one to pick. What do I do? There's so many. Just pick one. It's a wonderful thing that you can choose.
I don't like Snap on app on
the
Pop.
World is your flavor. Look
I
at
use
all
flat
these
packs
places.
mostly.
I went with Mint because it's the same one that I installed 15 years ago, and I knew that it was beginner friendly and that it still holds up. It very much feels like Windows, just better, okay? You don't even need to touch the scary terminal. If you don't want to, you don't have to. It's okay. You should though. Now, let's jump into my computer really
he even agrees you should learn terminal a little.
Look at that. I'm recording with OBS. Open source is always the best source. Couldn't get Bandicam. They didn't have a Bandicam. I can't believe I paid for that. There's
Bandcamp?
like free versions everywhere.
What was
That's
that?
so much better. Okay. All right.
I
So
guess.
this is the terminal. You probably heard about it in Linux. Feels a bit strange at the beginning. Let me just show you how it works. But first, wait. Oh, yes, today's sponsor. 3, 2, 1. Wrong. G Fuel.
Okay, he actually did ASCII art for his sponsor. Okay.
I love it.
Okay, I will give him props for that.
You get a free
Honestly, he
PewDiePie
probably
shape
hit up
for your
G
cup,
Fuel
which
and
is
said,
an
"Hey,
amazing deal. If you order $50
if you get some
or
ASCII
more,
art,
highly recommend. It's a
I'll
great
use it
deal.
in the video."
This is probably the best deal you're ever gonna get with G Fuel.
I don't know, you can easily figure out ASCII art. You just get the logo
No,
and drop
no,
it
hold
in.
on.
Free and 33.
Yeah. So
Bandcamp is for musicians. Okay.
no, but Bandicam back in the day, remember?
Oh!
Hold on. Not even back in the day. The way you know that you're getting really good tech advice is if you see the Bandicam or the Hypercam logo, the unlicensed version of Bandicam or whatever. And
That's
then they
like-
have a really heavy accent. You know for sure that's the best tech that your problem that you have is going to be solved.
I guess that's
Yes, unregistered Hypercam too. Yes. And it's got that really
So
weird
the
like
funny
font.
thing is, there is a follower of mine that actually has that as username.
There you go.
From my early days. It's funny every time they come in.
% off all PewDiePie products if you use the code PewDiePie. This is your final chance. Only get this deal for 7 days, so take the chance now. Don't wait, please. Brofist.
Can they at least give ads for like decent games that won't like?
When you're
Thank you. Go to gfuel.com/PewDiePie. Enter code PewDiePie, 33% off. Thank you, G Fuel, for sponsoring this video.
That was a
Okay,
long
this is
loading time
my
for that little
desktop.
G
I
Fuel
called it
website he
Apollo,
had.
And then I had my laptop, which I called Dionysus, because I wanted to mess around with it. Dionysus is the one I really went hard on the rising. But I just wanted to show some terminal commands really quick, just so you get an idea how it works. I talked about this in my last video, but the first thing that really blew my mind with Linux, I just noticed my computer was booting kind of slowly. So I found this command called system deanalyze, and it tells you exactly how long it takes for your computer to actually load and what part takes a certain amount of time. And it used to be like 45 seconds. I was like, dude, this is terrible. So then I found another command called blame, and then you can see exactly what part is kind of slowing down your system, which got me into, like really optimizing it. And I had so much fun doing that. And it just made me on Windows, if my computer is kind of slow,
but mine,
you just kind of deal with it. It's like, oh, okay, well, what can you do? On Linux, it's like,
so. Bobby's asking why no ad block.
Because if you haven't noticed, when you use an ad block, it will like intentionally buffer those videos forever.
I know.
Yeah.
See, people, it doesn't happen all the time, but it does happen, and people don't understand that's what Google does now.
Yeah.
And it's because they can't beat them, so they're just gonna make it life hell. That's all.
Yeah. And the honest truth is, if you actually were to calculate how much time you're saving from an ad block versus that buffer, you're actually going to lose more time from the buffer.
Exactly.
Yeah, so you may as well just deal with it, go through the 5 seconds, and
the world is your oyster. You can fix it. Personally,
I have Linux, Mint, Cinnamon, Flash,
the second thing that blew my mind with the Linux terminal was just how fast it is at searching. Searching on Windows is so annoying. It takes forever. Sometimes it doesn't even
yeah.
The file.
You never can find the right thing either. That pisses me off with my work laptop.
They just Bing it. They're like, oh, you want to search for your file? Oh,
we block Bing at work at least.
You want to look
So the funny story is, I forgot what attack it was years ago, but like there was an incident where an attacker came into a computer and then used Bing to look up how to disable something. So the running joke in cybersecurity is Bing an IOC, an indicator of compromise. So we actually block Bing at work as a byproduct, but that's because if you block Bing, and I don't know if you've noticed it on my firewall, I do it too, who uses Bing, because if you do search on this enterprise box, it will try going through Bing, but if you block Bing, it doesn't do that. So
I will say this though, with the searching. So if I need to do something with sound, sound setting, right? When you go to the Windows search, and you type in that search bar right there, and
Yeah.
you type in sound card, sound devices, advanced sound config. I'm like, no,
Just
the main setting first, then all the sub stuff.
And then you can do that in Linux, and it actually pulls up the settings in the sound section.
Yeah.
That's what you want to do. It's like, no.
Hey guys.
Linux, you can find
Zap
any
overlooked.
file, whatever
Yup.
you want. This is searching
Yup.
all JPEGs on my computer. That's a bad example, actually. The other thing that I love about it is that you don't have to
you can
just
also
search
put
the file.
output
you can
all your
also
files
search
as a
text
sound.
inside
Oh,
the
yeah.
file. So let's say you forgot
Or
what the
QR
file is
code if
called,
you really
but
wanted to.
remember a
Yeah,
reference
SHA-256
and stuff
some easily
inside
to,
it.
you know,
You
check
can
it.
rep it, and bada bing, bada boom. What the hell is this? Spotify password text. Balls deep. I did not do that. What? Searching files on Linux is super fast.
So what he probably did is he was grepping it to see what was in the content, and I'm betting they use it as a default to like say, don't use these
No, he
passwords
added
because
them.
it's like, oh, he added them?
Yeah, of
I
course.
thought it was like a rock you kind of
No.
thing. Okay.
No. That was 100%. He added that.
Let me check that.
Yes.
Inside the file. So let's say you fit, and bada bing, bada boom. What the hell is this?
No, that's a cache.
Yeah. Yeah, he added all that as password.
Oh.
Yeah.
Spotify password
I don't use
text.
Spotify, so
Balls
I do.
deep.
I love
did
it.
not do that.
I'm a heathen and
What?
use Apple Music on a
Searching
Linux
files
box.
on Linux is super fast.
But I also don't
it made
save
me
my
realize just
passwords.
how it should be on a computer
Neither do I.
again. The most obvious
Well, I mean, I do,
thing
but
with the
just not like
terminal
plain
is
text.
that let's say you install the operating system and you
Okay,
need to
you didn't notice it was
also
all
put
various
the
balls.
programs
Oh,
that you want
yeah.
to use on it. Usually you have
He's
to go
so
in the
used to
browser,
balls
Google
that
it, look up their
they don't
page,
phase
go
him
to
anymore.
the download page, dodge all the fake fake ads and all that crap. And do that and install and run each one, wait for it to install, yada yada. It takes forever. On Linux, you just
with
go
Windows.
sudo apt install, what do we want?
Thank you for the follows,
VLC,
Freeman Vegeta.
Firefox, OBS Studio, boom.
That is one thing I like
Thank
because
you.
you can only
Now,
install
I
one
can
app
look
at a
at the screen
time.
and
Since
Yeah,
what
but
is
some
it, 8?
stuff you also have
Yes,
to
I know
add
what
their
all of this means.
repo.
Every
Right.
single
Like,
But-
remember,
I'm soaking
Brave
in
was
with
like
my
that for a
brain.
while.
There's
They
so
were.
much you can do with the terminal. It's
Now
insanely
you can-
powerful.
But
now
you
it's
can
all
still
flat
chain the
back.
command.
But I
You
don't
can,
want
you
to keep it
can,
too
but
long-winded. And in
you have to
reality, I
go
just
to,
wanna
like,
show
their
you my
site and
Rise
get-
on my
and you
laptop,
can't
to be
just
honest.
sudo
That's the whole
apt
reason I'm making
Brave
this video.
browser.
Right. But now Brave is a flat pack,
Yes.
so you
Now
can
you can.
easily, you know,
Honestly,
do
I
it that
stopped-
way.
I
I
had
stopped
this old
like a lot of
laptop.
stuff.
I mean, it's
I don't
not
really
that
get
old,
flat
but I
pack
just
anymore.
never used it because
Because
I
most
didn't
of the
really
flat
like
packs have
using
issues
it.
now.
I mentioned before there's
Lucas is
many
like that.
distros
Yeah.
of Linux, and I wanted to try one called
He got the GNU like over there, and he like totally different list over here. So let's see. He's okay. This one's a little bit more organized to tell you like the
Well,
different
yeah,
like
yeah, it's all whatever
families.
the subtext of it. Like Debian and Ubuntu, there's Pop OS in there,
Yeah.
Tails, Kali.
You put cubes in the Debian Ubuntu. The cubes is kind of its own thing because it uses Zen hypervisor.
Yeah, but it is based
No, it's not.
very, very loosely.
No, it's not.
Are you sure?
Yeah, it's Zen hypervisor that allows you to use Debian or Fedora. You pick which one you want when you install it.
Okay.
I happen to set mine up to use Debian, and then you can have everything because
Well, that's why, because it's an option.
it's like Proxmox basically.
That's
but
why
for
it's
less-
in Fedora too.
Is it? No, it's not.
I know. Fuck with you.
Read between the lines.
partially because of the meme. It's kind of become a meme because it's a little difficult to
He
install
does look like an Arch
so it's
user.
like a flex to use it. For some reason, I went on a god run and I had no issue. I always get stuck on the dumbest ever for like 12 hours.
Oh,
I
yeah.
don't know what happened that time. But I also wanted to download Arch because it's a minimalist.
To be fair,
distro,
Arch is a lot
whatever
easier
you
now
put,
because
or
Valve
at
is
least 90%
investing
of it
so much
is
into
there
Arch.
because
Super
you decided to put it
hardcore
there. And it's
is
also
Arch.
very highly customizable, which are two elements that I love, so I knew I was gonna love it. All right, let's go into my laptop. I think it makes sense for me to show it without any customization first because it just be confusing and I need to talk to people that aren't having.
Saying Arch without customization is a misnomer because every time you install Arch, you're
You
customizing it
Yep.
because there is no like base Arch install. The common misconception there, because part of your install is picking your desktop environment, your initialization environment. Like, do you want to use systemd or initd? It's very customizable. All the packages are binary. The only one that goes a little bit more extreme than that is Gen 2, which compiles everything from source. technically it makes it faster, but you're recompiling everything, so...
Use Linux. My first favorite thing, which I have on Mint as well, is just shortcuts on my keyboard to open programs. Open terminal, open file manager, open browser, close it, whatever, it's all there. It's such a nice workflow and have a more keyboard-centric way of using your computer, especially on a laptop.
I installed Garuda Cosmic. Well, Cosmic's still in like alpha beta, and that's System 76's own thing. It's not ready for production yet.
Just search for it.
That's why I still don't run it yet. I like it. I played with it.
As well, but yeah, this is my terminal on this setup. I'm using Alacrity, and this is NeoFetch, which shows my specs.
Yep.
And usually people have an ASCII art. It sounds like I'm saying ASCII, I'll call it ASCII, of their distro. And if you saw my Mint one earlier, I was like, oh, it wouldn't be cool if I do like my own custom ASCII. And then I thought, oh, wouldn't it be cool if I do my own animated ASCII? So I figured out how to do that.
Now I know how the GIF versus GIF people feel. I understand their pain.
ASCII art.
It is GIF though, just for anyone.
Yeah.
But
a little bit of tinkering and schminkering, but it's just so nice to look at. I love it. So I'm running Hyperland, which is this beautiful tile manager. It automatically sorts it for me.
Hyperland is interesting, but I just
nice workflow,
like
and I can close it all as well.
Oh yeah.
You can literally open these until infinite.
But that's the beautiful thing about
a laptop when you have limited
Linux is
screen
you can
space. It's
make it flow however you want
with it. It's the fact that they're always there means I never have to look for them because I know they're there. And if my workspace
I use it every so often, but I still would rather have multiple monitors and just
workspace number 2.
I use
the problem is ADHD. Like once it's out of sight, it's out of mind.
Let's say I'm working on a project.
That's the problem.
On workspace 1.
I will forget an entire workspace is there.
2, and go back and forth.
I forgot entire virtual machines were running when I went to go play video games.
This way of using a computer. It's so sick.
Oh, I remember that.
The first thing I really loved about this Arch Hyperland setup was just how quick and smooth it looks. At least, you know, like boom.
Like even the snapping of this is better than Windows 10, 11 with snapping windows.
Oh, you see that? Ew. Again. Oh, that took forever. And it loads so ugly. So my first thought, okay, well, maybe I can upgrade my SSD to make it snappier and quicker. But then I thought, I'm on Linux. I can do whatever I want. So let's run a time here, Firefox. Let's ignore the CSS errors. I tinkered a bit too much. Don't worry about it. What was that? 2 seconds? Not good enough. So I figured out a way, and it's so dumb. I won't explain how I did it, but the fact that I was able to do it, boom, instant. Boom, 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 boom! I love it.
That is one of the beautiful things about like Linux versus Windows is Windows when things are slow, it's just like you kind of just gotta roll with it if it's like an update mess things up. Whereas Linux, you can actually dive into it to figure out, okay, why is it slow? Customize it, put a cache. Oh, you want to make your RAM slightly faster? You can do ZRAM. Hell, if you want, you can. If you have a lot of memory, you can technically do this in Windows, but in Linux, you need less tools to do it. You can make an entire like SSD in your memory, you know, and it runs super fast. Although it'll wipe out every reboot, but.
Yeah. It's these small things that makes you really fall in love with using Linux. Anyway, the first thing I customized was Waybar. Oh, I forgot to say I can move around as well if I want to. Anyway, and move them to a different workspace. So yeah, this is my taskbar.
He's using workspaces.
It's like the Windows taskbar, except you decide exactly what's on it and customizing it. I put calendar, turn it on and off. Internet, Bluetooth, quick access to all these
things,
it
looks interesting, it just ain't my jive.
It basically just tells me if I'm connected to NordVPN or not, and I can talk on it. And it tells me which country I'm connected to. Up here it shows.
I get it, but NordVPN.
I have these reactors in the background. I thought
they were so bad. You know the situation with NordVPN a few years ago, right?
Yeah.
They got compromised. It wasn't a serious issue, but it was the way that they wouldn't even disclose it, and they had to get pressured by the security researcher. And then after that, I was like, look, I don't care if it was a major issue. That yes, it was a pretty easy fix. It's the fact that you were not ethical about your disclosure about the issue.
Oh yeah.
That is what bothered me. And I know it was a few years ago, but it's one of those things like maybe they can redeem themselves. But I'm not saying this because I'm affiliated with Proton. I'd still rather use Proton or Molvad. Either one of those, but Molvad isn't as great for like everyday use. It's great for privacy aspects but things. But yeah, anyway.
Each workspace was each reactor. I'm on reactor A. There's reactor B, C.
And just a reminder, you don't need to
then
use a
D, where it's
VPN.
recording OBS.
I only use mine when I
Then
travel
have
and
my
need
battery
different
bar, which is
geolocation.
ASCII. I keep saying ASCII, which is ASCII
That's
art.
because it's what it's called.
Volume. And you know, look, if my volume goes too low, it gets red. It's critical.
I mean, if that's your
Just to
vibe.
really LARP the whole nuclear reactor.
But you can customize it any way you
to me,
want.
it's
Now,
cool. I like it.
remember when we used to use Windows, we had to install Stardock and get it customized to
Yeah.
do a lot of this stuff? But we had to, like, pay for that. Whereas in Linux, it's just a matter of a little bit of time, tinker, boom, done.
Yeah, but
Kate-
see, people don't like time anymore. People just want it now.
All right, the second thing I did was making widgets with Ew. Ew was a nightmare. I'm not gonna lie. Here
You?
we go. Let me also change the wallpaper really quick. One second. All right, so this is my desktop. Let me play some music actually.
Interesting layout. Play some music,
This is
plays an
really
ad.
good music. Wow, Chief, you put your own music in it.
It's the same ad, too, if you notice.
So first I added this visualizer because I just saw a lot of people doing it. It's using Kava, but I changed it again with ASCII.
What is it visualizing? The
So
audio?
it looks a little more Matrix and hackery. Here we have my uptime, just how long it's been running, and how much until my battery is out. I should probably charge my laptop. CPU temp, I should probably change, cool it down a bit. All of this is, it changes. It's not just like
Yeah, your
visual
GPU
flair.
is a little
Well,
hot
it is,
there,
but
and CPU is,
load,
yeah.
which changes, RAM usage, storage. This tells me which workspace I'm on. So right now I'm on reactor B. Power consumption, completely useless, but I needed it to look cool. And then we have my two fans for CPU and GPU, and then this little spinny fan thing to show it. Upload and download, latency, and then just another VPN thing. It's kind of pointless. And then basic weather. And then finally, to make it sort of all work together,
I just want to point out he's using metric too. So this guy, when he was came into my house, he looks at my thermostat, and what was it like? It's
No,
not
all right, hold
21,
on.
20.
No. First off, I had woken up, and I was like, Chief was up, and he walked by the room, and I was, we were talking, and I walked out, and I looked, and it's a little. He's got the Nest thermostat, but on the wall, I'm like, is that like a little clock? And I'm like, that's a weird time. It's 21:20 or 20:21. I'm like, or no, 21:20. Like, it's not 9:20. Because I use 24-hour clock. All the
I do
time. I
too.
don't use no Windows right there. That's just PM. That's
I don't
not
pay attention
24.
to that. It's Windows. It's just
So I'm just busting your chops. So anyway, yeah, no, I was like, oh, okay. Well, I was like, wait, that clock's off. And then I looked and I saw hot, cold, all that. I was like, oh, he uses Celsius. You know who else uses Celsius?
the rest of the civilized world.
No. All the less cool people in countries. That's who uses Celsius.
Well, yeah, they're less cool because
I
you
know.
know they don't live in the humid butthole of America like we do.
No. I
You're from
live in
Jersey.
the armpit. You're
Okay.
the butthole. You're in the middle.
Some people like to eat ass.
Nobody likes to eat it. Ohio.
What certs from CompTIA do you recommend? So I've actually gone through this in a prior video, not too long ago. It's why you're what is it? The truth about certs, why your resume is being ignored, something like that. It's on YouTube. Definitely check that out. It talks about some of the certs, but it also talks about that you shouldn't focus too much on certs. So definitely check that out.
Automod.
Oh yeah, Automod.
Who was it? Oh, yeah. Thank
Butthole.
a
He does.
script that basically scans.
I tell
if
you
I'm
what, it's a
using
really pretty
window.
butthole.
So if I open or close, it sort of transitions in and
Very
out of
well
Waybar
groomed.
because I don't need
Just
it
get
on
my butthole
both. That's
tattooed.
just like too much information in my
Ohio.
opinion. So this is on my desktop.
One of the
It's just a
O's is
nice vibe
all.
here. We just chill over here, and then when I'm in workflow, it blackens it all
But,
out.
Hi-yo.
And I can just get going on my shingy thingy. Oh, and in
Wouldn't
the
that be
middle here,
Hi-yo.
I forgot to
No,
say
no,
it
no,
has
this is
power
Japanese.
profiles in my laptop, so
hello.
I thought it'd be cool to change them. It's silent.
Any particular opinions on Hyperland? It's good, but I've also heard configuring is a pain. I've played with it a little bit, but I'm of the personality of like, look, I just need it to look good enough and then use my applications. So if it's your bag, sure. For me, I like the Pop OS GUI out of the box, and I can't wait for Cosmic. I kind of like the Mac Lake aesthetic because I came from Mac, but yeah.
I just want to say, okay, I am not being convinced to move here. I would love to.
I was gonna
But
say that
if I
sounds like
can make as
propaganda.
much as I am now and live here, I would.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But construction in Ohio
Does not pay as well.
No, not just that. But I lose brain cells when I drive by the job site.
Oh yeah. Why do you think I stopped being an electrician years ago and went back to tech?
I'm talking like highway construction.
Oh.
It's bad.
Oh, I know.
It also
Power
costs
mode?
a lot more. Oh yeah, of course it costs a lot to live in Jersey.
But I changed it to Razgon, which means overclock. You see my fans are spinning, and these are faster as well because the fans are spinning more. This is so sick to me because
can
I'm
just look at
remembering
my
what this
fan. I
laptop
don't
used
know
to
why I
be
need
running
that.
Windows.
I know, that one's
I
not
never
spinning.
wanted to
That's
use
not
it. I
spinning, it's
hated
broken.
it. Now it
It's
went
just
from
I gotta go into the
hardware
BIOS
that I
and
never
tweak
it. No,
used
it's
to my
been
favorite
sometime.
piece of hardware because it not just
the
looks
heat.
great, it
Yeah.
runs great.
Yeah, I
It's
just
the
don't have them
heat.
tied to all
Love
that.
it. It's so sick. I had so much fun customizing this. It was just a blast. Yeah, I hope you guys appreciate it as well. I've been doing so much more. I built this camera as well. Like I mentioned earlier, you can communicate with Linux even without a graphical user interface GUI. That made me so excited because I'm like, wait, that means I can use other computers at my disposal.
Yup.
For some reason, to me, that's just like really cool. And I wanted to try what I could do with it. I want to show this in another video maybe because I feel like it's too much yapping. But my point is, I've been having so much fun.
I'm waiting for like the next video to come out and it'll be like, so I set up PFSense and I got a home lab. I got a 42U rack and here's my prox box. And I've also gotten into Docker.
An example is,
there's a
again, my
Docker
laptop.
container for that.
When I first installed Arch,
Before you know it, he's
none
like
of
showing
my
off Portainer.
keys worked. Actually, sorry, 3 out of 12 worked out of the box. So I had spent a long time bringing them back to life. For me, it was kind of fun. I was like,
that is one of the genuinely nice things about Linux because like you ever noticed like Windows and even some Mac users, they will dispose of their old computer.
Yeah.
Whereas like Linux people, like look over there, there's like several laptops over here.
Oh yeah.
And I don't throw them away. It's just like I could throw a new drive in that and just do whatever I want with it.
Well, I mean, no, like I use my old system for a sim rig downstairs, but that's not everybody's gonna do that. Like you said, a lot of people are like, oh, okay, this is old, outdated. Throw it away. Get the new one because this one got a little slower.
Yeah, like I still got like do you know the story about this little netbook here? That was so back in the day. Remember, like this was the Bitcoin hardware wallet I did before Ledger came out.
Yep.
And this is what I did kind of like as a cold storage of sorts before hardware wallets existed, when I wasn't using paper wallets and all that. But like this laptop, I can still like, I think there's still a good SSD in here. And like I can use it for like, oh, okay, I'm going to just plug it into my network and do some tinkering. I might need a new battery, but like that's the great thing. And this is a tiny netbook. I think it's like got what, a dual core CPU in here. It's like nothing to write home about, but
basic shit.
But I can, use it for a little thing. I can give it to one of my nieces when they come over and they're like, hey, I just want to like put like Minecraft or something on it. Won't do anything like super high end, but I can at least, keep them occupied. So
got another one working. Like, okay, let's move on to the next one. But I can imagine for a lot of people that just want things to work, maybe this is not for you. And maybe it should work, I think since Linux is not as popular on desktop as Windows or Mac, this is just the reality. There's just not enough support for it. On Linux, if something doesn't work, it's kind of up to you to fix it. And yeah, that's just how it is. I was trying to update my drivers for my GPU, and I got a black screen 6 times, and I had to do a hard restore every time. It's not the most fun thing in the world. There are other things I could rather be doing, which is why I need you to install Linux, so the more people we can get together, the better Linux becomes.
With Arch, you
And I
definitely have
get
those
it now.
issues
Like
more.
that's why people were so excited about me using Linux, because Linux is not a product; it's a platform, and it also already exists everywhere.
It's a way of life.
NASA, SpaceX, it runs on Linux. All the supercomputers, your TV, your smart fridge, your phone,
Well,
it's Android.
Not all smart fridges are, because some are running, I think Tizen is a little bit different. You know, the Samsung Tizen, have you've played with that? I think it's like Linux-like, but it's not really the same, if I'm not mistaken.
I think it's just based Unix.
I think so. I haven't played with it too much, but I know it's different.
Yeah.
But then again, I don't have Samsung appliances because I value my kitchen.
See, the thing is this, right? At the end of the day, this is the reality. Majority of people just like, so for example, I was having this talk with a friend of mine earlier today, right? He's got a lot on his plate, right? And when he gets well, I mean, this was his friend, but like, so he said this. He's like, I'm done at work. I want to go home, sit down, and just do this.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to come home and then go, oh, these things broke. I gotta fix them. Like like honestly, I cannot tell you how many people I know who come home, just sit down, pick up the controller for the PlayStation or Xbox, kick back, and then just start playing. Right? That's it. That's all they want to. They don't want to have to go and like.
And I can relate to that. That's the big
like,
reason why I use Pop! OS is I want to know when I come home after doing all these cybersecurity issues and all the work at home, I can have a Linux, just sit down, do my thing, and when there are issues, they're so minor.
But like this does break that a lot, because like he really went into depth, and people are like, well, if I want to customize it that much on Windows, like there's, you know, like honestly, you go on Steam, like go, when we finish this, go on Steam. There's a dozen programs you can get that add functionalities to Windows. People would rather pay for those than figure out how to do it for free on Linux.
But I think they've also done a survey that they showed the majority of people even using Linux don't customize their desktop.
They don't, but there's a good number of people that are like, well, I like in Windows, I don't, maybe people in here do, Rain Meter. Remember that?
Oh yeah.
So Rain Meter was that was a customization thing. So like you could literally have that do like almost anything. And like I remember there was like a Jarvis thing where the inside was like any audio that was playing.
VTuber says they still use Rain Meter.
There you go, see? But like the one I had set up was the center of it was like a Jarvis like speech bubble, right? It would like it would propagate as like he was, it would like spin down, but that was the center. Then each out, like it had like all these like little arms, and some of them were like volume, some were like battery power, some were CPU, memory usage, temperatures, all that, and it was all around. So they were all like moving in and out, and like doing all like little shit. But like that was really cool. Doing that on Linux, a lot sometimes, and like Rain Meter was a lot.
Yeah.
But like there was like a lot of pre-made stuff.
Yeah.
And there's pre-made stuff for Linux, but like
you also have to like, oh, are you using X11? Are you using
exactly? And people don't like that. The problem with Linux is there's too many options sometimes.
It can be overwhelming.
Well,
that's why I tell a lot of people like when they're like, what distro should I use? I'm like, the one you like.
Well, and that's the problem. I think like so if we get a good Linux that ends up being popular enough to like rival Mac OS or Windows, it has to be paid for.
They're just talking about Red Hat
for regular users, because you have to have.
Here's the double-edged sword of paid for is like, you know, if you pay for it, then you know, because you'll have the Windows users like, I don't pay for Windows.
So they do.
They do, but they don't realize it.
Yeah,
that's the problem.
But like when you build your own PC, you pay for Windows.
You do, or
But-
you should.
You know what? Actually, okay, I'll do this. I installed Windows on my sim rig downstairs because it's easier. I don't have to deal with drivers for Fanatec.
It's the same thing as what I use 10
iRacing-
Enterprise over here.
iRacing will boot you for running Linux.
Yeah.
Just the way their anti-cheat and all work.
Mhm.
They will boot you. So, anyway, I use it for that. So, I was having a pain in the time trying to find my old key for Windows.
Mhm.
So I just said, screw it. I'll get a key. So I searched around for a key. Pain. I was like, all right, you know what? Screw it. I'm just going to buy Windows.
Yeah.
So, $120 later. Okay. I
Not
bought
the
Windows.
OEM. Oh, OEM Pro.
So I bought it.
Yeah.
It still said activate Windows.
Oh yeah.
So I restarted Windows. Still said activate Windows. And I was like, I looked, they charged me for it. I looked in
I've
Windows.
seen that bug.
Huh?
I've seen that bug.
And I'm like, what the heck? So every now and then it'll say activate Windows. And then other times it's like, no, you have a valid version of Windows. I'm like, awesome. So that's a fun thing. I paid for the Windows legitimately. And Windows is like, oh, you paid for it. This time we don't think you did. Next time you did pay for it.
See, that's why I like Enterprise, because I have an Enterprise from a volume license. I
Yup.
literally have the 25 character key I put in
Yeah.
when I install it. I like that for that reason, because I've had the same key since 7 Enterprise.
So I had the same thing for me was I had it since 7, but now I don't know where the key went. So I don't know what the key is. So I lost it. But
I can
Eh.
signal you mine if you ever need an Enterprise key. Just hit me up and
Yeah.
just don't share it.
you know, I was looking for I was gonna sell it.
Well,
No, I was
because that volume license is to me, so
No,
you know.
I know. Honestly, I was looking and for the one for my 620 I have downstairs, I was looking at doing Windows workstation. But that's $200.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm good, never mind.
Yeah, well, the way I got my keys is, are you familiar with MSDN?
Yeah.
The
Mhm.
Microsoft Service Developer
Yeah,
Network?
yeah.
So I had a subscription for them back in the day when I was in the MSP. So those keys, once you activate them, they stay good in
Yeah.
perpetuity. So I've just been using that same key ever since,
I got
and they haven't dinged me on it because
it's perfect.
it's mine. It's a volume license.
Yeah.
Like, I'm technically allowed to have it on 10 machines at any given time.
Okay.
But
Yeah,
they
no.
don't. But like Microsoft doesn't do volume checks, on it, because like I don't have a physical address tied to it. So,
Yeah.
but it's there for like people who test and all that.
I
I'm like, look,
gotcha.
I only have like 3 VMs at any time, so just hit me up.
Alright.
I mean, yeah.
It's all Linux, baby. I think it's just so cool the fact that this all happened because one Finnish guy in like the 90s just decided, hey, I can write
91, baby.
Finnish naivety, typical Finnish
Must be
behavior.
like
They think
Freaks
they
or
can do
Free X or
anything.
something like that.
But without that, things would
Thank
have been
God they
very
didn't go with
different.
that
At
name.
least there wouldn't be an alternative. And I just think it's so cool that people saw what it did, got excited, and wanted to join in. So please consider joining in. Now, if you're even just a little bit curious, I recommend trying Linux. Maybe try dual booting it if you're not sure. You can still keep your Windows.
I understand where he's going at with that, but I don't think he's been using it long enough to see the downsides of dual booting. So, Darko
No. That's actually the proper way to do it, though.
What?
Using the fucking Windows bootloader. It sucks, but that is the right way to do it.
Yeah, but
It's just
bully on the playground.
yeah. But no, if you do it that way, it's actually a lot smoother. And updating Windows isn't gonna ruin it. But
Like it did when I took a crap one day and then I had to reinstall my entire Pop OS because it nuked the bootloader so hard, and I spent 3 hours, and at that point I was just live CD, yank all what I needed, reinstall, do it. It worked out for the
Yeah.
best because I was moving everything to flat packs anyway. So
There you go.
Or whatever. You're gonna kill it later. You might as well kill it now. Test it out. Break it. Get upset. On Linux, I feel alive at last. At long last. Thank you for watching. Let me just type out my goodbyes.
Oh.
No.
You know, I was kind of actually really surprised that he didn't do Cow Say or Lolcat.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. It's honestly, it was good. Like he really went into like heavily into depth in it. Honestly, the only downside is this, right? So this is the only thing like I normally say with like a lot of your Linux videos that you do, like starter Linux stuff, is you get like sometimes people get like really into it and then they over describe stuff. And like what he did where it's like honestly like a lot of that was like more a much more advanced user thing. Right?
Yeah.
Now he was showing the benefits of it, but that scares the crap out of some people because they're like,
yeah.
I don't know.
I don't want to do that, and I tell people all the time, like, you don't have to. You can just.
Yeah, but that's the problem is that like when you tell them you can do that, they assume you have to because you got to remember, people are stupid.
Yeah, the average person.
Exactly.
Even Men in Black called it out. What was it? They said a person is dumb, fearful, and ignorant. Like that. Yeah.
Exactly. So it's, but honestly, one of the big things I can say is that, like, whenever I try to tell people like about Linux, using Linux is, listen, can you use Windows? Yeah. Can you use your phone? Yeah. Can you use like when you're scrolling through? Can you use your TV? They're like, yeah. I'm like, then you can use Linux.
Yeah.
You just install it.
And then nowhere near as difficult as it used to be. Like I remember when I was first using it,
you had to build everything. You had to compile your shit.
You had to
like,
compile things. Oh, my printer doesn't work. Oh, my wireless card doesn't work. Oh, I have to grab the driver.
And it's just in the kernel now.
Yeah. Like everybody's like, well, how do you install an AMD driver? Like I remember I had people. I'm like,
don't have to.
Do you have Linux installed? Yeah, it's already there. It's in the kernel. I'm like, what about NVIDIA? Okay, that one you can either use the free Nouveau driver or you can use a proprietary one. And the proprietary drivers from Linux for NVIDIA aren't that bad anymore. They did just open source some components too.
Yeah. Have you
tried Shadow PC on Linux? No.
I don't.
Is that like Shadow clone on Windows or? I'm not
Shadow
really... I don't know. Hold on. Let's see.
All right. Well, hold on. You're not sharing it, right?
No, I'm not sharing.
Because this could be something dirty. Shadow PC Cloud Gaming.
Oh.
So, all right. Hold on. So I was actually talking to my buddy about this. So, all right. This is one. Windows does this too. Right. With Xbox Game Pass, you can actually play games on the go. You can actually do them on your phone.
Right.
Do it on Linux too.
Oh, you can?
It takes some work. You can get it running on Linux, and you can actually play games in the cloud, stream to your Linux PC. It's cloud game, like where it plays on a server, and then it gets streamed to your.
Like the times I've been taking a dump and stream a game on my laptop from my desktop.
Except this goes to their servers.
Okay.
Played there, and then so that's a feature through like Xbox Game Pass, I think. And then what happens is like you could do it on your phone. Like I actually did that before, playing like certain games on my phone. It's kind of fun. It's really stupid unless you have that little controller.
Yeah.
But now honestly, I think that's if we find something. I don't know how this works. But because you have
also
to
depends on the game you're playing, I guess, when you're doing cloud gaming.
No. Browser. So what happens is you have to submit all of the inputs from your system through the browser to the server.
Okay.
Some browsers don't like doing that in Linux. They will not find game controllers, keyboards, mice to submit the input through
Is it a
them.
permissions issue or is it a?
I tried some of the
Okay.
permission stuff. Now, this, aha.
I looked at you like, what?
So there you go. So he's upset, but
He's a good boy, dog.
see, look, there you go. I pet the dog, okay? It's fine. Yeah, so pretty much what it is, I think that is a really good actually point. Is when you're talking about like gaming on what now some people go, oh, I don't want to play on a certain. Listen, using Linux, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then you pay for whatever service. If there are games that you're like, I really want to play, but they don't run well on Linux or they don't run at all on Linux, you can just go, okay, look, you can stream them through a cloud service. Now,
Doesn't NVIDIA have their own service for
they
that?
do.
Okay.
GeForce Now.
Okay.
The problem is this, right here.
Yeah.
Somebody spends $3,000 or even $2,000 on a gaming PC.
I don't want to run it in the
You
cloud.
don't want to run it in a cloud.
Yeah.
That's now, if you spend $600 on a PC,
That's a different story.
okay, and you're like, I want to play these games, you can literally hook it up to like a 4K TV,
Yeah.
and stream it to the
Yeah, that
TV.
totally makes sense at a budget level.
Yeah.
But like, if you're spending the amount of money like I did on my hardware, even though it's not a super high end rig, it's decent.
Well,
I wanna
me on
use-
mine.
Mhm.
Me on mine.
Mhm.
Me on mine. Price.
Oh,
Right.
yeah, I'd rather run this locally.
My
every
water
day.
cooling alone was like $1,000.
Oh, I know. I
It-
didn't
I
want
got rid of the waterfall.
I just put neon in
It
my
doesn't
computer.
waterfall anymore.
It doesn't waterfall.
No, it's
Is it golden showers now?
it is. No. No, the pipe, the video I sent you, right where it's flowing into the front, the
Mhm.
water. We laid the computer down, and I filled it up. My buddy would hold it on an angle, or no, I held it on an angle. He filled
Mhm.
up the reservoir, and when we righted it back up, and then let the bubbles keep flowing through,
Mhm.
and then we did it again, and we literally went like this. We went like that, backwards, all just to get all the bubbles out, and
See,
now it is sealed.
I see why some people do liquid cooling, but I mean, I have plenty of airflow, so it didn't really matter.
Yeah, but it's not about airflow. Thermal mass.
Yeah, well,
Your thermal mass is like an eighth of what mine is. So
yeah, but works is fine.
no, that's what I tell girls. They still say it.
Yeah, sure.
They do. Listen. No, so water cooling is all about thermal mass, and what it is like so.
Yeah,
You
but
have
I feel like you don't need to liquid cool as much as you used to. Like, I remember liquid cooling back in the Pentium 4
Yeah, but-
days when you had net burst and they
So-
were always running hot.
well, I could put it this way: if you bring up underload, right? If we both have Linux, you game for 5 hours. I game for 5 hours, right?
Mhm.
My thermal curve is gonna be a lot more like steady on a rise. Because you have the air cooler too, right? You don't even have the all-in-one cooler.
Yeah, it's all air.
Yeah. So your thermal mass is really low.
Yeah.
And so that it's gonna now, as long as it's pushing through, you're fine. But the more it starts to heat up, all that thermal mass really so like in longer game sessions or like computation stuff like that, thermal mass is where it really counts. And that's why like a lot of people are like, dude, if you do super long game sessions, that's why they still recommend it all in one.
Yeah.
That's why they like now. I also went with like the new one I have.
But I have a Noxua DH15. That thing is a mass.
It is, but so I went with because what's your processor? Do you remember?
5950X.
All right. So I'm a 9950X.
Yeah.
Now I was looking at the X3D. The problem was the regular X was $600. The 3D was $900.
Okay.
You get 3D stack.
I know it's like slightly faster in some
It
modes or
is.
something.
It's a lot faster, but not for $300. So I was like, I was fine.
Mhm.
But I don't overclock as much anymore. I just use whatever the basic stuff for like
Yeah, I don't even overclock anymore either.
well no, so I just use whatever the Asus like auto overclocker does.
Yeah, same thing with the gigabyte stuff.
So whatever that handles, but I do that with that and with the GPU, and then both of them are water cooled. Now it's all in the same loop, but it from the pump, it goes into my GPU, then goes into the 360 mil radiator. Out of that into the CPU, then into another 360 mil radiator, and then back into the reservoir and cycles around. The benefit for that is that each one has its own theoretical cooling.
Yeah.
And honestly, you know what else? I will say this. It sounded really stupid when I looked at it. The quarter clock for my GPU cools the back and the front of the card.
Makes sense to me.
But it's active cooling on the back. So like now, like you know how like a lot of GPUs, like I think yours has the back plate on the back that's a heatsink. You know, mine runs water across that.
Yeah, makes sense because it's gonna, have across the PCB.
And I tell you what, that sucks all of the heat out of it, dude. Like that card, the hottest under load that I've ever seen it get is like 48. Yeah. That was like, I also had the fans turned way down. Yeah. If I turned the fans up, dude, that thing's it's sitting at like 40.
Yeah, but see, I didn't really need to go for it because, like, for me, the highest loads that I do sustained are like maybe gaming of 4 or 5 hours. And when I do editing, I'm rendering a video. It's rendering maybe at most in like, I think the longest I've had it do was like 10 minutes for that hour-long video I did. So it's not like I'm doing anything critical of a load. Now, if I had like a server doing LLM, then I would definitely be liquid cooling that, or even immersive cooling it.
So, immersive cooling, there's a lot of really cool stuff.
Not liquid, not the mineral liquid.
I know.
The proper one.
Yeah, 3M. So, actually, one of the big ones that's coming out now is passive phase change.
You're still doing phase change? Like, I remember that was the hot thing years ago.
So, no.
Don't you remember, like,
No.
Let me go on a nostalgia trip. You remember what you used to have the boxes underneath? And then you had the whole, like, phase change cooling, and they're, like, another, like, $1,000 to $2,000 for the unit. Was it Frozen CPU used to make those? Yes.
So, the new phase change stuff, you literally, it's no pump, okay? You just put the block on the CPU, block on the GPU, and it goes from, it like boils off of there and goes up to the radiator, right? Now, some of the passive stuff has fans, right? So that's not the other ones, like they had that, oh God, what was that? Linus just did a video on it. It was, they pretty much, they took a bunch of money and ran and like fell out, like there was this whole thing, but it was like, the thing is like 100 pounds of cooling. Okay. And no, the case is heavy as shit. Right. And
is that the case,
the whole
silent case that used to be there?
I don't remember, but
I remember there was this passive case years ago that like it was dead silent, or is that totally different?
Well, it's same thing, except this is
Solomon made one.
Yeah,
or
but
like
this
that totally
that
different?
was just that was literally just like vapor chamber and stuff.
Okay.
Right. This is phase change where it's got liquid in it, but the liquid moves by itself. It doesn't need a pump. It boils, goes to the case, which has fins all over. That radiates out the heat, and then it condenses, comes back, and then sits back down, drips that back down, so that it boils off on the heat again. And that's all in, like, it's all enclosed. You don't have to like top off the fluids or check pressures.
Interesting.
But that's the new stuff. Honestly, for me, I like the look of liquid cooling. I like the fun aspect of bending pipe, pressure testing.
You like to bend your pipe,
I
don't
do.
you?
my pipe bends around quarter. But no, it's that. It's also, like I said, with thermal mass, like sometimes like I'll be gaming for hours and hours, or like especially like when I used to do CAD a lot. I mean, I would be running stuff all the time, whether it's stress analysis or what's the one where it generates the structure. Like you put forces on it. You say like, all right, so it's going to be mounted here. The forces are going to be pushed on the edge. And
like
then
what SolidWorks does and stuff like that?
Yeah, AutoCAD did it too. It's like generative...
Structural load analysis?
No. Structural load analysis was just loading. This was like generative, like almost like generative infill.
Okay.
But except it was actually for the support, like the actual support, not like...
If I were ever to do liquid cooling, though, on my stuff, I'd probably... on the stream PC more than anything.
Yeah, so because it's always running, and you need that, like that thermal mass would help. Now, for you, well, not anymore because you're gonna do the surprise, I guess, for everybody in that.
Well, the ham shack, yeah.
I wasn't sure if
I've mentioned it a few times.
So, because I was saying honestly, what you could do. This is always a fun thing. Because I used to game with a buddy that did it. His computer, right? You ever see the PCs where they have the holes in the back? All right. He ran his cooling out through there. The pump and 2 radiators were on the other side of the wall. All the fans ran at 100% all the time.
Yeah.
So all he would do is literally just boot it on, and he had like a couple fans like this running just to get airflow in the case. But everything else got sucked through the...
Oh, you know what's on the other side of this is the laundry room.
Yeah, so you could do that.
On top,
yeah. But like he did that. Now Linus tried that with the whole room.
I remember that.
Really badly done. But
when does Linus do things that isn't badly done?
But it was a good idea, you know. Now, honestly, it's actually pretty funny because a lot of server farms are starting to switch to that kind of stuff, where like the rack slides in, it's got the connection.
Oh, there's entire server racks that you literally rack it in and it locks in a seal, and then it just starts cooling it. But then they also have the quick release that you like press it and then it doesn't it doesn't even drip any water. It's amazing.
So, I'm not using them anymore. EK.
Yeah. I've heard the crap they've gone through. Yeah.
So EK used to have these quick disconnects.
Yeah.
And I used them when I did soft tubing. The best part about them was it was literally no drip. You connected it, and I'm telling you, there wasn't a drip of water that came out.
Yeah. I remember EK used to have some really, really nice stuff, and I said if I was ever going to do water cooling, like they had the blocks and everything. And now it's just, I would not touch them with a 10-foot pole.
Yeah, that's everybody's thing.
Yeah.
Just because honestly, it's just not. Now, I went with the new radiator for the front. It's actually not a reservoir block, and it's a tank. It's a 360 mil tank.
Yeah.
And it looks kind of like a distro plate, and so the pump's down here in the reservoir, has the outflows there, inflow up top, fill hole over here.
Yeah. Well, you can see
that's all alpha cool.
Yeah, you can see this case was meant if you wanted to water cool and everything. That's I accidentally bought a case that was too big, and I'm like, let's just put neon in.
So yeah, because your distro plate that they have made for this case goes right there. Yeah, they can see that. It goes right on the back side. Because this front you want to have for the cooling, and the back or the top, whatever. Now my case, because I think I showed you, it takes the whole motherboard. It rotates at 90 degrees.
Yep.
So all the inputs up top. I don't have to worry about GPU sag, anything like that. Oh, did you hear what NVIDIA did?
What?
You didn't hear.
I haven't paid attention. I've been...
So, people were kind of happy and upset. NVIDIA released a update. and it added a GPU sag detection. So it'll warn you if the sag on your GPU gets like really extreme.
Okay.
You know how it does that?
Is it checking the resistance across the board?
Nope.
What?
Gyroscopes and accelerometer.
Really?
You know what they didn't tell anybody that they put in the card when they sold it to them?
Gyroscopes and accelerometer.
Yeah, everybody was like, why didn't they tell us that they put that in there? Like, people were like, listen, it's not like a huge deal, but they didn't say anything. They were just like, hey, we just pushed an update. Now this has it. And people are like, cool,
wait a minute.
but, problem. So, yeah, a lot of people were kind of like, it wasn't like, you lied to us, but
couldn't you have just been a little bit more transparent with what's in the card?
Yeah, because people looked and like they did not say that like they added accelerometer.
Don't get the follow, Wolfgang.
But no, it's honestly, it's just one of those things that I remembered because people were like, it's not bad, but
it was still like, why couldn't you just told us this was in there?
Yeah, but and it's not like a huge deal that they didn't say anything like off the top, but it's a lot of people are like, what else didn't they? It's like, I don't think that it's that big of a deal.
Yeah, I doubt they're gonna like be like, oh yeah,
oh, by the way, it's also got a webcam, we can watch you. We're watching you.
I was gonna say it had an OnlyFans package for, you know,
everybody
extra excited.
Yeah, everybody's got an OnlyFans package. No, it's honestly, I saw that. I thought that was pretty cool because I was like, you know, it sends out like a warning, like when it starts getting bad.
Yeah.
Because it'll be like, hey, check now, because like mine's rotated 90 degrees. I'm like, it'll be like, oh my God, it's snapped in half. But it's like I said, it's just one of those things. I think that people were just kind of upset.
Yeah. Alex asked, did you try the new OS Cosmic 7? I played with it a little bit, but until it's unstable, I'm not putting it on my production machine.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, we all learned that lesson eventually.
Yeah, that's like why I tell people that like main Arch when I'm like, okay, is this your machine you rely on? Okay.
Well, some people like that though.
Some people like that.
They're in the dirty stuff. Which I'm surprised you're not in.
Look, some of us grow up and learn our lesson.
So I will say this though, when it comes to Linux overall, is I am very happy with it, but like I told you too, with my nephews, I'm not going to put them on Linux just yet, unless like eventually they might get into the point where it's like, okay, I want to like kind of like learn more, and I'll be like, all right, listen, I'm gonna just put Linux on here, you're gonna have to fit. But the only problem is like, you know, why are you stoked?
What the? It must have rained.
Oh, get off of me, wet dog. Wet dog is like the worst smell in the world.
I don't know, I've been next to you.
There you go. Go today. Go.
Come here, Harry. Come here, boy. There you go, boy.
What?
You don't like them when they're wet?
No. Not dogs.
That's what I was.
My dog. No. Oh my God.
Hey, Meshtastic Bros, where are you from? I'm from Dallas. Well, I'm from a state of denial.
Denial is only a river in Egypt. So I'm normally in Jersey. Right? I told you, dude.
You are wet.
He's looking at you like, no shit. He just told you that.
Yeah.
There you go. But honestly, there's no like Meshtastic stuff around me, unfortunately.
There's plenty though around me.
He. They just sent he.
Maybe he. Forgot the.
Yeah. There was like a whole like they typed something else out, but accidentally like deleted it and just sent he.
Lamala.
I don't know what he is supposed to be.
There's tons in Dallas Fort Worth, but it's so far I gotta put in a solar repeater up high. So that's what I want to do, but the issue is that tariffs are jacking up all the prices for Meshtastic equipment. I don't know if you saw my TikTok video, but I was looking at a $90 Meshtastic repeater that I was going to build with a solar panel, and it's $300 because of tariffs.
Doll hairs.
Doll hairs.
Oh.
I picked up some 24 miles away in the middle of the night. Yeah, you can do that in the middle. So
sometimes I connect to like Philly. Weird.
The interesting thing, and this is why I tell people to learn ham radio, there's certain wavelengths that do better during the day and some that do better during the night. And
you know what is a really good wavelength for night? Brown chicken, brown cow.
But yeah, so you can actually in some cases do better at night. Has to do with the temperature inversions. There's ways that you can actually bounce frequencies off the ionosphere, or you can even bounce signals off of buildings and stuff. There's a lot of cool things you learn when you're doing amateur radio and ham. That's why I really got into it, on top of being able to do amplified devices. What I want to eventually do is get like a 25 or 50 watt Meshtastic device with an amplifier and set that up on top. Probably not with a satellite dish because of the power that would require. Maybe not. That'd probably need a bigger dish. But I could at least, I think you can do 25 or 50 watts through PoE, can't you? That might be pushing it.
No.
Yeah.
I think, well, PoE++, you can do 48 volts through. I think you could probably push that water right there.
48 volts with 5 volts? 5,
look up PoE++ limitation, power limitation.
Let me check that out. Because I probably get in
power limitation.
watts. Oh, you can do 60 watts per port with PoE++ 802.3BT. You could do up to 100 with Type 4. So with voltage drop and everything,
this
it's
is
probably
why
be fine.
I fucking hate people that nomenclate that make up the nomenclature. So hold on, back up a little. I gotta address the people. Listen, okay. If you work for the people who come up with the nomenclature for USB, okay. If you work for the people who come up with it for Wi-Fi or Ethernet, okay, there is a special place in whatever version of hell, right, you want. But there's a special place there for you, okay? Because let's be honest, USB dropped the ball at 1.1. Okay?
Yeah.
Because full speed. Then it was high speed. Now, if I told you, hey, here's something, it comes in full speed or high speed, what do you think is faster?
Full speed. But you know what's even
now
worse?
We have super speed.
You know what's even
I think
worse?
super speed's slower than high speed.
You know what's even worse is when you go into the radio. So like, okay, you have HF. You know, that's what 300 kilohertz to 30 megahertz. No, it's 3. I have to remember, it's a little late. And my brain's fried. But basically, you have HF. Then you have VHF.
Explain that.
You have HF. Well, we were smoking cigars. We were having. We were having wine. And
no, we weren't TikTok.
So you have HF, you have VHF, then you have UHF, and then like so you have high frequency, very high frequency, then you have ultra high frequency, and then you want to know what gets even worse? What's after ultra high frequency? I had to look this up the other day.
What? Very ultra high.
No.
Hold on. You look that up. I'm gonna get more water. You want some?
Yeah, I'll take a little more.
Oh man. Felt digging in my gut.
Higher than UHF. So what's higher than UHF is SHF.
Super high?
Yep, super high frequency.
So I don't know. Here you go. Here's your I just stepped on your IBM. Oh, thank you.
So yeah, you've got super high frequency, and then it gets like a little bit more ridiculous. Like they did not consider this.
Well,
they should have just gone to ridiculous frequency. But then if you get ridiculous frequency, you'd have to go to ludicrous frequency, and then we'd have to go to plat.
No, this is the whole point that I have. Listen,
You're a wet dog too.
USB.
Yeah.
Okay. USB 1.
Right.
Understandable. Right.
1.1.
1 point. Even that's understandable.
Yeah.
USB 2.
Yeah.
Okay. Comes after 2.
3.
No. 2.2.
Oh, they had the 2. Oh yeah, that's right.
Then what comes after 3?
3.1.
Yes. Then what came after 3.1?
3.2.
No. 3.2 by 2. They try like all the, like, oh well, no, we're just gonna add this because people. No, listen, stop, pump the brake. If you're gonna use the same specs as say USB 3, awesome. Do USB 3.1.
See, that's why I like Firewire. Because you had Firewire 400, Firewire 800,
and then it
Firewire 1600 and 3200, which technically did come out, but were not fully adopted, and then USB took over.
AKA they died.
Yeah.
So, now, if you turn around and you're like, okay, USB 1, 1.1, all right, USB 2, 2.1, 2.2, or 2.2. Then you go, all right, we're at USB 3. You're using what is the base of the standard. Then you're just adding. Sitting on the cord.
Yep.
Just yank it. Oh, is it hooked up to something?
I had around the chair too.
So all you have to do is just okay. If you're gonna stick with something. Don't go like 2 by 2.
Yeah.
And then what standard are we on now?
2.2?
No. USB-C.
Well, that's a physical standard.
But that's what they call it.
And I hate USB-C, and I like USB-C. I like the fact that, oh yes, we have a universal connector. But I hate the fact that now I can have 5 freaking cables in front of me that are capable of 5 different things. And there's not a damn thing I can do to just say, this is that. I have to buy a special tool to do the identification, and then like put the label on it.
I just buy like all the stuff I do now. If I need stuff, I just buy 40 gigabit.
I thought you'd just take a garage and just...
Well, that too. But no, like honestly, because Ethernet's the same, dude.
Yep.
What else did I say? It was USB, Ethernet. What else was it? Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi. A.
B.
What comes after B?
G.
Oh, somebody didn't learn the fucking alphabet.
And then you go straight to N.
Yeah.
And then what's after N?
Was
AC.
AC, yep. And then what was AG?
They had AD.
No, AD.
Yeah.
Then AX. And then they're like, wait, it's Wi-Fi 6.
Why couldn't they just like the Wi-Fi 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 made more sense than this thing?
Well, like Justin brought up a good thing too. Is like the supercharging, super VOC, you know, the turbocharger, blah blah blah. All right, that's a spec for it's whatever the owner of like the phone, whatever the operator for that wants to call it.
Yeah.
That's not overall like
Intel at Thunderbolt.
Well, here's the thing, right? Is because like the reason that is different from like USB. USB has a foundation. Its sole purpose is to put out the specifications for USB and the nomenclature, which is how you name stuff. They got the specs good sometimes. Now with the it's like they use the same people who made the specs and said, okay, now you get to name it. And people are like, well, you know, well, it does this, so we're gonna no, stop. Just name it. Wi-Fi now is they're looking at because we have Wi-Fi 7, and then they want to change that now. They want to go to something else. It's like, stop. Leave us on one thing. Nobody's gonna. We're not going to freaking C-Fi. Okay, there's one standard Wi-Fi.
Not only that, like the name Wi-Fi is so ubiquitous at now.
There's no Y in it. Why are you calling it Wi-Fi?
It's Wi-Fi. It's iffy.
It's it.
I call it Wi-Fi because the connection is very iffy.
You know what I call it? With Jiffy.
Why? But
because it's better than Ethernet.
Here's the thing: even if they call it like C-Fi or whatever the hell, or Z-Fi or
Wi-Fi. Why is
the problem is that the average person's still going to call it Wi-Fi. I mean, the average person, the fact that I have to explain to them, your Wi-Fi is not your internet. Your Wi-Fi is your wireless connection to your internet. Like, you go into people and like, hey, do you have Wi-Fi here? I'm like, yes, but the internet's not connected to it right now. Like, you know, I've had to explain to that. Like, what do you mean your Wi-Fi is not working? Like, no, the Wi-Fi is working fine.
So, I had this whole discussion. My buddy came over and helped me out with some work around the house. And I was like, what are those things on the ceiling? And I was like, they're access points. He's like, what's that? I was like, it's like where the Wi-Fi comes out of. He's like, oh, that's really. He's like, so what? You bought two like the Wi-Fi thing? And I'm like, access points, yeah. Like, well, what's an access point? Like, and I was like, well, just take a Wi-Fi like router that you would buy from like Walmart or whatever, Best Buy. Just have the antenna. And he's like, well, how's everything else connect? I said, those go back to the switch, and the switches, I was like, the switches are like the back where it's got like 4 ports. Except those aren't switches on the back. Those are, what are they called? You know what they are. What's not a switch?
Just a router.
No.
What are we talking about?
There's 2 types of things that have multiple Ethernet ports.
Got hub and switch.
Did a hub? There was some hub.
Yeah, the other thing's a hub, but we don't use hubs anymore. So it goes to a switch.
They still use hubs on the back of routers. And that's how. No, well, the cheaper ones do. I'm sorry.
They shouldn't be.
All they are is just a hub.
No, a hub is going to broadcast the same thing to all ports.
Yep. Exactly.
I have not seen a router or something like that with a hub in many years.
They just had a thing. It was forget who it was. It was they tested it because they're like, oh, what's the backplane, the throughput, and they're like, man, this is horrible, and it's because it's a fucking hub. But yes, you're right. They are getting rid of them, and they're not using them. But there's still companies that are like, hey, that's a lot cheaper. Why don't we make them like that now? I just sat on.
What'd you sit on?
Fucking beads.
Not
the fun way.
I was gonna say.
But no, it's. I mean, I don't know. I just, when it comes to stuff like that, like, yeah, people, like, I run into it where I work all the time talking to homeowners, and oh, yeah, that's my Wi-Fi. Or like they come out, my Wi-Fi's out. Well, I mean, I could say theoretically, I could be like, oh, must be your router. Bye. Not that we took out your service, digging this trench,
Could be.
and the service is ripped out of the ground and it's sticking out of the ground between me and you. But your Wi-Fi's out. Oh, you know what I always love? So the telecommunications guys told me this.
Okay.
You know how many times they go to a house and people were like Verizon guys are like even bigger with this. They're like, oh yeah, we go to houses and people are like, oh, why are you? Stop humping the damn pillow.
You're not JD Vance.
There you go. So, what was it? Oh yeah. So they're like, oh hey, isn't this wireless? It's like Verizon wireless. It's like no.
And to be clear, you're not talking about the LTE hotspots they bring in.
Like the FiOS stuff that they run.
Okay.
Or even telephone.
Okay.
Oh, I thought I ordered Verizon wireless. Or they'll be like, oh, I ordered Verizon. I thought it was all wireless. I didn't know you had to run like everything up to the house.
What did you think the fiber was so that you could poop
Well, they
better?
don't know. People have no idea about the infrastructure that runs their lives. So like when like for example,
I have to explain in videos when what was it like they're shocked when I explain to them about system signaling 7 is from the 1970s or emails from the 1980s, and I'm like, no, we're still running on decades old infrastructure.
So, like for example, right? On my street, I live on a cul-de-sac. Tree fell down on like the road entering into the cul-de-sac, so all of our power went out. And I was talking to my neighbors, and the fire department came out, and they walked up to they like were walking down the street, and they walked up to the one house and the other house. I knew why. They have solar panels. They have to shut the backfeed into the into the network off before they can work on the system. And then they can open everything up.
Right.
But because my neighbor who has a solar panel, yeah, they said that they had to shut off the feed in, and I'm like, yeah, I was like, because you're pumping power into the line. And he's like, what? I was like, you get paid for your electrical power, right? Yeah, I was like, because your power goes into the line,
feeding the line,
helps feed power. And he's like, yeah. I was like, well, they have to work on the line. Like, okay. I was like, if you're pumping power into the lines and guys are touching the wires,
it's a live wire.
He's like, well, yeah, but they have like gloves and stuff. I was like, not for yes, theoretically, they could grab the wires with the gloves as long as there's no holes in the glove.
Yeah.
But I was like they shut it off because they have to get the bucket trucks up there. They have to string a wire. They don't want it live and then it hits the truck. Now they ground the trucks and stuff,
right,
whether they're working with live or not. But yeah, it's just you have to shut all that off. There are light powered equipment out there, which is wild. You mean solar powered?
I think they mean wait. Do they
Light
mean
powered.
like powered through the fiber? I don't know how that works.
Not through fiber optic.
If anything, it would have a copper line alongside it.
They have fiber optic lines for that. It's only for locating. So they hook up a like a utility locator to it. You call before you stick a shovel in the ground. You have to call 811. And
you don't have to, but you really should. Otherwise, that discovery
legally you do.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying the discovery is going to be very shocking potentially.
Well, it depends on which roots you hit.
Yeah.
You hit sparky roots, yes. You hit smelly roots, yes. You hit splody roots.
Yeah.
Those are the yellow ones. They boom, big boom. But
big bada boom.
Rainbow roots are really fun because you hit them, and everybody comes out like, my telephones aren't working. That's weird. I don't know why. You're kicking dirt over it. You're like stomping it back down. Oh, that's weird. Don't look over here. But yeah, rainbow roots are pretty bad because the phone company likes to really charge. For fiber receiver, end of it can turn light into power with a capacitor. Oh, interesting. Mostly used for
BIOS to cable TV RF. Okay, so it's not high voltage, not high power.
I don't think FiOS uses it.
I don't think so either.
Because FiOS goes into, it's called an ONT, an optical network terminal.
Yeah.
That has to be plugged in.
Yeah.
So.
And then at that point, doesn't that
TV,
give you the Ethernet connection?
The cable TV is an RF. It's what's it called? The one guy was in here yesterday or the day before asking about it. IPTV. That's what FiOS uses now.
Yeah. I mean, it's still using RF, but it's digitally encoded.
I've seen some media converters that on AP fiber. All right, I think now you're just adding a lot of words. Look up GPON at AP. Look up GPON fiber. Gigabit passive optical network. Yeah, that's so this is GPON is considered is the angled green fiber connect. So all right, hold on. This is called FTTP.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fiber to the premises.
Yes. They back in the day they had a bunch of other stuff. They had like fiber to the curb,
fiber to the node.
Yes. So fiber to the premises is GPON, right? I guess they're using it as. So, but it's gigabit rated. So now they don't really use it. It doesn't power it because the ONT. Look up like a Verizon ONT. Oh yeah. You know, dude. Listen. If you just get another browser that's only for stream, you can search it. You don't have to hide your.
Yeah, well.
So that right there is an ONT, right?
Yep.
Now, if you click images, it's gonna be porn. Yeah. So
Just
see,
cable
yeah,
porn.
click that one. Yep, click that one. So right there.
Brought to YouTube.
Really? Oh, whatever. No, it's good because it was paused. All right. So see the yellow cable? That's your fiber optic line.
Right.
Okay. Now, one of those wires, the green wire is the ground, right? Which is actually kind of funny because they wanted ground rods in the boxes for the FiOS. The ground from the house to the ground rod in the. Yeah, it was really weird. They were stupid.
Wait.
So,
their own ground rod with a
Yes.
different potential?
No.
So
It
they
just-
have it
there was a
bonded?
ground rod in the handhold that like everything would run to,
Mhm.
and they wanted them to run the ground wire to there instead of grounding it to the house. You know what the best part is? The current fibers are plastic. Okay? You know what doesn't conduct electricity at all?
Plastic.
Plastic. You know what really doesn't conduct it? Glass. So, yeah, there's like, there was one house I went to, a lightning strike killed the fiber, but the lightning hit a tree, and the lightning literally went through the fiber when it went into the ground. That's the only. But
see, when I did my house, I had the 3 ground rods I added, and then I have at the block where it comes from the RG8U, I think it is, off the pole. It's then grounded in on that block. Over there.
So now the only thing is like, so obviously you have your cable coming out. This was now I'm trying to remember from the last time I saw this. So obviously below, there you go. I'm gonna borrow your mouse. This right here, okay, is should be power.
Okay.
I'm trying to remember off of memory. That right there is your Ethernet line.
Okay.
All right. Obviously, these are your telephone lines. That's for the telephone actual hookups to go inside. That was for the television.
Okay.
Now, what they use that for now is actually booster.
Okay.
So what they do is, like, if you have, like, let's say you have a really big house, they'll have a the Ethernet is running to your Wi-Fi, the main Wi-Fi for your house. The coax is used for extenders. So they plug the coax into the back of the original, like the actual Wi-Fi. That goes into the extender now. But I haven't seen, I'm going to say it for that, right? I haven't seen power through light. And I haven't seen the fibers that are carrying power, mainly because they don't like to use them. Because here's the thing. Most of the fiber stuff is buried in the ground.
Right.
Which, if water gets into it, they learned this with all the old copper lines. So, there's different eras that copper telephone lines were. There's lines, say, like Atlantic City, has lines that were laid in, like, 1913.
Right.
Okay? It's a lead casing, healthy. Inside, it's called a paper cable. Each one is wrapped in paper.
Yep.
And it was meant to be filled, or whatever, air pressure a lot. Now, and the air pressure is sent from the CO or whatever, or a booster station, and it gently pushed in. So if there's a pinprick hole in the line, or like a little crack, air bleeds out. So the water doesn't go in. If the water goes in, the whole line fails.
Right.
Then they started wrapping them in plastic, but realized, it's still going to fail over time. Little micro cracks in the little, not plastic, you know what I'm talking about, like whatever, like Ethernet's coated with.
Final.
Yeah. Then, now if you crack one open, it's got like petroleum jelly in it.
Yeah.
Okay. That's all to keep water out. So, pumping power through actually with the POF. Google for POF.
Plenty of fish.
That's what's gonna come up. All right. Here. Let me. Oh, you got it off there.
Yeah.
Here. There you go. Do power over optical.
Power over fiber. The fact that it literally just has like this one paragraph tells me it's not that common.
2030.
Like, look, there's literally just this.
So, technology where fiber carries optical power, which is used by energy source rather than as well carrying data. This allows a device to be remotely powered by electrical isolation between the device and power supply. Such systems. Explosive. Power over fiber. Yeah, but see, this is not this. This is saying that. I mean, they may use it like he said in like where, what is it like if it's hard to get power to it? But Verizon doesn't do that. They just say you have to provide us an outlet, and if you don't,
well, they
you don't get
expect that you're gonna have power. I mean,
well, no, they do them to like water company wells and everything. So like water towers and all, anything that had. Think about this. Do you know how much stuff actually has a telephone line ran to it?
A lot.
And the reason being is because back in the day, right, telephone lines pushed their own power.
Right.
So you didn't need additional power especially if it's just like calling up to like.
Oh, you could get a
check
nice
that
zap from
equipment's
one of
working.
those old phone lines.
Oh,
when you
I
get a
did.
Call.
Oh, I have.
Yeah.
Especially some of the higher voltage stuff.
Yeah.
But, instead of like the little, I think what is it? It's like 12 point something. They do run stuff 48 volt. Spicy. But the big thing is like, I don't know. I mean, Verizon doesn't do it mainly because it's just more money. They don't. Yeah, water gas meters, all that. Yeah. So the meter stuff, actually, you know what the water meters and the gas meters that are smart ones and the electric meters use?
Well, now, well, when they come by, it's wireless.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what wireless spectrum it is?
I used to know this. No, I don't remember off the top of my head.
Got them all sitting right there.
Oh, Laura?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Makes sense.
I actually didn't know that until I was watching something and the guy said, yeah, he said most of it is 915 megahertz.
Oh.
He said he was actually picking it up with, and he piped that through, because they piped that through Meshtastic and was getting some of the data. You have to, because it's all like not encrypted, but just like it just sends out the data for them to be able to read it.
Yeah.
So he said, yeah, once you get past that, you're fine. Somehow you have to light up a connection to a Zigbee hub in a neighborhood. Yeah, they use LoRa or Zigbee. Zigbee I think is a little bit less. No, I think it's less used. But I mean, I could be wrong. When I was looking at it, I think it said less. I bet someone at DEF CON will do a talk about getting free water gas. So, all right, here's the thing. As somebody that works with utility, okay, people have tried a lot of things. So like, some people I know, new builds, the water meters are inside the house, right? Has the LoRa or whatever to let like the people driving by, they could just get the water meter. You know what they do if you cover the whole thing in like Faraday fabric.
Okay, yeah.
Okay. They send you a letter. Hey, we know you did something. Stop it. If you don't stop, what they do is they send you the max bill that they can send you.
Which ain't cheap.
No. It's thousands of them. And then they just say, well, if we don't know how much you're using. Now, it is pretty cool about like it, but most of that stuff is not send and receive. It's just send.
Full send, yeah. UDP.
Now, I mean, there's probably something. I would imagine that somebody somewhere will probably like screw around with it. But finished a 12-hour shift. If I see one more
Volt Typhoon alarm today, I'm gonna lose my head.
What's that?
Volt Typhoon was that's a threat act.
Okay. Well, I hope you see a bunch of them.
New Taco that goes crazy.
Then well, Headless Horseman. That he'll lose his head if he so if he sees one, he can be a Headless Horseman.
Yeah.
That guy creates a electric bill and then yeah, pretty much. I mean, it's if you don't like, people think like when all that smart stuff came out, they were like, oh, if I don't let them see it, you know.
I saw all the like people like, I'm gonna cover it up and everything. I'm like, guys, it's not that serious.
No. Oh, people were so
I'd rather wirelessly transmit my data than have a stranger come through my backyard.
And trust me, they would rather that too. You know why? People's dog.
Yep.
They're not allergic to them. They're just allergic to getting bit.
Yep. SPL queries.
Nah, it's honestly though. It like when you look into infrastructure and all, it is pretty cool. You do learn a lot, like this power over fiber. most large companies don't use it. Obviously, like it even says it's specialized around like delicate servers or military applications. But I mean, it is interesting. You always learn a lot.
Yep.
But the big thing like is that when somebody comes to your house to do work, okay? Yes, sometimes you know more than them, but I can almost guarantee you 98% of the time they do know. So leave them the hell alone.
Call me the Iceman. I have DMV access.
Oh my god.
Yeah. But I'm starting to fade as well.
Lightweight.
Hmm.
You should have chugged like 3 monsters like I did.
But I do have work tomorrow.
All right. Oh yeah. You know what I don't have tomorrow?
Yeah, lucky guy.
Work. Oh, I do have that 7.5 hour drive.
Yeah, you do. But
That's what caffeine's for.
I took caffeine, but then we like had, you know, whiskey and cigars and
Yeah,
all that.
that is true.
But thank you all for joining me, everyone.
Peace.
I will see you all next stream on Thursday at 7:30 p.m. If you haven't already, make sure to follow me on all of my socials. And, of course, the Discord and Matrix server as well. I'm on Blue Sky, I'm on Mastodon, Twitch, YouTube, and TikTok. So, love y'all. Stay safe. Happy hacking. If you're over on Twitch, stick around for the raid.